What'd you do?
I don't know.
What's happening? Are we live?
I don't know.
Blow on it?
Are we on now?
I think we're on now.
Okay.
I was just hitting that to see if it worked.
Okay.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's how people end up pregnant right there. You gotta test that out first.
I meant to tell you about Bear Fight Whiskey, but I'll do that in a few minutes.
It's a nice bottle.
It really is. Bear all yelling at you.
Manly look right there.
That's a tease.
Okay.
So, I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
We got Video CK over there. No? All right.
I don't hate it.
No,
We could call him CKY. Boy.
What's that mean?
Can't kill yourself. The predecessor to Jackass. Which, when I woke up over the weekend on my guy's trip, was just playing on the menu screen type thing on television.
That was Andrew WK.
Yeah.
What were you? You were thinking you'd call him Andrew
CK.
Andrew
CK?
CK.
Andrew CK and CKY, Andrew WK and CKY, very similar. Just like gross and doing crazy stunts. And CKY was a band also. With Bam Margera's brother. Are we doing a show right now? I can't tell what's happening.
Check.
I think we're doing like 4 different shows. Oh, look. Clayton has a mic.
Andrew
All right.
CK has a mic.
That's right. Anyway, we have a lot of content today. We are doing a program. I look at the run sheet. It does say the pre-show spot is Bear Fight Whiskey. I didn't do that. I messed things up with the audio. On my run sheet, I was told yesterday it's Aaron's birthday. And my wife said that's why I don't think I'll be home for dinner tomorrow night.
Whoa! All right.
So, yes, that was my exact reaction inside my head. And the same reaction at first. She told me tomorrow's Aaron's birthday.
And you just blinked at her like we
I'm
did.
like, yeah, it's all right.
Aaron.
I think she has a friend. I don't know. She has a lot of friends. Jennifer, Aaron.
Karen.
Whatever. Karen. Oh, my God. They're all on my list. My celebrity list. I love Donovan's old bit.
Yeah, the hall pass.
Yeah, he said, like, on his wife's hall pass, like, Steve Francis was on there. And that if she ever ran into him in a club, she could probably have sex with Steve Francis. Like, she's a good-looking lady.
Especially now.
He's a hound, you know.
Well, that's tough. That's a tough one.
And I think my wife as well could probably have sex with some of the people that she wants to have sex with.
Yeah,
if there is anyone.
I think
Willie Geist is not cheating on his wife.
Maybe. And Steve Zahn, that's a possibility.
Yeah, you get him on the right trajectory. Like, me and Michelle Tafoya, I'm there. I'm right there.
I would agree with that. And the Steve Francis one, not to get lost in the weeds, that's a tough example of this because maybe you meet with your wife and you set these names out when you're in your 20s or early 30s, and it's kind of set in stone. You can't add a new one when you're 50. And then Steve Francis.
Right, like I just added Aaron.
Bought really high on Steve Francis, but the stock has depreciated significantly. He looks like a character from Bug's Life now.
Really?
Okay, I haven't seen him
It's
lately.
really bad. I think he might have a problem.
But number one, so that's my number one thing. I got
That's huge.
Good Times tonight. I think I'm going to have dinner and watch the Anthony Davis comedy show to prepare for tomorrow's, for our show. I'm going to watch it so you don't have to.
You know what I've been watching?
Clayton was telling me he started it and couldn't make it like 5 minutes. It was so bad.
This sucks.
But he does it with
The guys
from Impractical Jokers, so I can understand why you wouldn't be able to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, that there's so many tentacles of this that are annoying that the fact that our now franchise cornerstone is really good friends with the Impractical Joker guys. Like, Luka kind of hand-waved at Dude Perfect because they're here and it's local and it's...
Yeah, like Anthony Davis sought them out.
Yeah, like he's a guy who thought, I can't get enough Impractical Jokers. I kind of vibe with them. I should be on the show.
Luka was a language barrier. It's like he's like, yeah, okay, yeah. He
Yeah.
didn't know what he was doing.
And athletes tend to think they're funny.
Oh,
When
Anthony
sometimes
Davis
they're
definitely
not.
strikes me as a guy who thinks he's funny. What I've been watching is, and I'll have a report at some point, is the Netflix series on the USA basketball Olympic run, and it's really good.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it's really weird because I watch AD, and I have no feeling of like, oh, my guy
Yeah, no.
on this team. It's really weird.
Just terrible.
But it is a very fun documentary.
If we're going into what have we been watching lately, I've now started and gotten through the first season. It was only 6 episodes, 20 minutes each, 25 minutes each. Portlandia.
Oh, really? You never did that?
Have you?
Yeah, off and on.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a great nighttime. You got to watch a show with your lady.
I mean, I feel like there's some misses in there.
Sure.
Just because of the way the show is, some of them there's not really a plot at times.
No, it's kind of a sketch show,
Yeah.
kind of, but it's not a sketch. It's really, I don't know. I like it. I've liked it. I've enjoyed my journey so far. Last night was season 2, episode 2, maybe the best one I've seen. Anyway, I didn't intend to bring that up. What I
That
did
Fred
intend
Armisen, very talented.
Apparently so. Nothing stands out for me like, oh, I remember his SNL career because he did.
Oh, really?
Like, what did he do on SNL?
Well, he did Lawrence Welk, which is where we got Tiny Hands Lady
Okay.
with Kristen Wiig, but also he did maybe it was in one of the documentaries, but it's like a send up of Mexican TV where he does the little fake rim shot. Ay, Dios mío. You never seen that?
I don't think so.
Well, they do a version of it now too.
I might have missed a couple
They have
years.
a new Latino guy now, and I think he's very funny. And you could tell he grew up with his parents watching like Sabado Gigante because he does a version of that now, and it's hilarious. It's ripe for parody. But Fred Armisen is just kind of the art. He seemed like the art cast member. I'm pretty sure he played drums for most of the SNL 50 concert.
Yeah, he looks to be an accomplished drummer. He'll pull that out on the Portlandia now and again. But before we start all content stuff, whatever, I got something. This could lead us into sports content, actually, unless you got some other stuff. But I wanted to, I don't know if it's an announcement or a display, but it's kind of big. It's part of my growth as a human into a, what do you call it, like a more well-rounded, a better human than most people. I'm trying to get better and better and improve myself. And so, yeah, hold on, take this off. I need to show you something. I've made a purchase.
He got it before I did.
The Luka.
I'm sure he did, yeah. Heck yeah. Oh!
Wow, the black.
Wow. God, that's clean.
Dang, man.
The numbers look so tough on there. How did this man make us love 77?
I don't know. I thought he'd change his number.
You look good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's very cool. Let's see the back. Is there any purple or is it?
It's a fish.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Look at that ass.
I got Chris Young butt.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, watch Chris Young on the mound.
Real flat ass?
Kind of diaper butt, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic news for you.
Yeah, got it in, had to go eBay,
Yeah.
like the NBA shop or whatever. Doesn't even carry the black, and then to get it, you have to wait till March 30th or something. I couldn't do that. Had to have it now.
Yeah, I ordered a medium of the jersey, and I don't think I'm going to get it for quite some time.
The real jersey.
Oh, yeah. I've got like 10 of his jerseys.
Wow.
A lot of discounts and some China purchasing.
You know what's really sad?
I mean, I have like all of them together. I've got like 4 Euro jerseys, 2 Slovenia jerseys, and a few Mavs jerseys right there in my closet.
I mean, it's all sad.
Got my Luka, the 2 pairs of Lukas that I have, the one that was given to us, and a pair that I bought like when they first came out that were way different looking before he had his own shoe. Those were just there, and I'm like, what do I do with these? Stare at them? Wear them? I'm not going to wear them.
It's all sad, but when you go to that NBA store, like, you can see the incredible discount. If you want a Mavs Luka, you can get that T-shirt for like $12 or something.
I heard, like, the Mavs, obviously, but you can't get one there, right? It's not like you could buy one at a Mavs game. Of course, that makes sense.
What do you? Oh, now they've just cleared out the.
I believe so.
They don't sell them anymore at all.
Yeah. Erased.
Yeah. That's a funny bit because I would, that reminds me of a ticket radio station in Dallas bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking about it'd be a good bit if they ever, how SNL has Norm Macdonald on the year after they fire him, and then it was like a big thing, and everybody, oh,
yeah, shame.
And I was thinking how the ticket wouldn't do that with us,
of course,
and the reason they wouldn't. And, like, it's a valid reason, but it also shouldn't matter. If you believe in what you got, then you don't. The reason would be they would not want it, and they used to say this when Reiner left. They don't want that to diminish who is on the air there. Because it would be very popular, to be a huge deal. Like, if we just came out and did a song at Ticketstock and then left. Like, it would be a huge, memorable thing or whatever. It's not on the air or whatever. But they wouldn't want to do that because then it would be like, oh, look, they're better than these guys that are on now. Some people would say that. Some people might not. Whatever. But that, like, SNL did that. And, in fact, Norm kind of got jeered a little bit in his monologue. Like, the reason they have me back, it's not because I'm funny now. It's because the show sucks now. And everybody's like, oh, don't say that. But he's like, you'll see later. So it's
Yeah,
comedy.
I remember that.
It's just... They had the belief in themselves that it doesn't matter. I'm sure some people will say, yeah, we should have. And think of that. You're having Norm on, and I hated Colin Quinn. I wasn't quick to grab Colin Quinn, but they just did realize, hey, this will be it's a big cultural moment. I want to do that.
Seems like you're talking about trying to do the best show.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that would be a good bit. Why did I start to say that?
I have no idea.
I was leading to something really cool.
There was Portlandia. There was
Ticket.
Aaron's
having you guys
birthday.
back.
Luka.
Aaron's birthday. Luka. You bought the shirt. I like where you're
Can't buy the
here,
Luka
though.
shirt anymore.
Man, that's it. So now the Mavs don't want to have the Luka shirt displayed because then people are like, so they think if they just don't display the Luka shirt,
You'll forget.
you just won't even know that, and you'll just think they've had Anthony Davis forever. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really good.
Thank you for weaving me back. And that does remind me that Bear Fight American Single Malt Whiskey, 90 proof American Single Malt Whiskey, aged in its first fill bourbon barrels. Finished in peated smoke, oak, and sherry casks. This award winner is approachable and versatile, with notes of dried fig, ripe red apple, candied dates, sherry oak, and a whiff of peat smoke. Bear Fight Kentucky Reserve, this 90 proof Kentucky straight bourbon finished in reposado tequila casks. How you like that?
I like it.
Pulls bold and spicy flavors from a high rye bourbon, complemented by the vanilla, caramel, and subtle tequila and smoky characters of the secondary cask finishing. Ready for a bold new favorite?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's rhetorical. Order Bear Fight Whiskey now at bearfightwhiskey.com.
If you place an order, send us a pic. Are you enjoying your bear fight?
Oh, okay.
Always helps. Like, subscribe, 5-star reviews, do all that shit.
We'll
we need
put it
help
on the wall.
brother.
Yeah.
Do all of it. Hey, actually, that's not a bad idea. This weekend, maybe we'll talk early bird later. But
yeah, we have
maybe
gummy
grab
thoughts
yourself a
coming
little
in.
early bird and do us a favor. Spend 10 minutes and just go like every video on our YouTube page. Just knock it out.
What were you saying, Clayton? Like sharing? Is that the thing? Somebody was saying that to me.
Yeah.
If you share a YouTube video.
Turns out all this
something
stuff everyone
does
finds
stuff.
annoying on every video and podcast that you watch or listen to actually matters. So
To
Mash
Algo-
come
that
on,
like.
DZ Bag Nation, get out there and
Smash
like
the
it up.
does
hit,
it
hit the bell. Okay.
Does it help the algorithm?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're
Algo.
talking algo, I did think it was very funny after you know what, whatever. You brought it up. Somebody sent us a post from the Ticket Reddit where Peter Welpton, a host of the Kick Around, co-host of the Kick Around, had posted a hey, Cat's got an AMA and nobody came before, so please come to this.
Cat our old boss.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that we have to reset. But first of all, that's hilarious. Just the fact that it exists. Who were we talking about yesterday that was very Jeb Bush, please clap? But also it would be very out of character for us, but it would also be hilarious and very like sternish to just go. And also like go and not be rude. And not as, ooh, it's corporate.
Just walk around.
Let us do this or that. Just go to the AMA and ask like extremely specific programming questions, like inside baseball type stuff.
You think that would cause buzz if we just went and walked around?
Yeah, but again, we talked about
Look
this
how
off the
famous
air.
we are.
It would be very out of character. And like when I see people do stuff like that, even though it usually does work out for them, Barstool being a big one.
Oh yeah.
I just don't feel
it would get increased numbers and all that, and
it just doesn't feel like our move.
we could drive the van around.
Why don't we buy a booth?
We could buy a booth.
Hand out free trial. I mean, we need numbers.
They wouldn't sell us a booth.
Absolutely not.
Could you buy a spot on the station?
You know, I
That
used
would be
to
funny.
wonder about that because and I actually on one hand I say like, oh, I wish I knew what the rule actually was, but like at anybody's job, most of the rules are just like, fuck, I don't know, let's figure it out case by case. Because it was always strange to me that we would run ads for churches. Obviously, the thought being if the local South Lake Mosque wanted to run, you know, an ad about how this is the way, this is the only way, which is what Christianity believes. Could you do that?
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff we advertised that was church stuff was not like just, hey, this is a community. It was kind of like, hey, are you ready to save your soul? Well, and that would be right before like a boner pill.
Bucks Cabaret. And then
Yeah, exactly. So
Save
I
your
wonder what the
soul.
rules are. I imagine there's a lot of discretion in the hands of the, the programmer.
Yeah, they could just turn down.
Sure.
Sometimes they would turn down, I think,
Yeah.
the hardcore strip clubs or something.
Oh yeah, remember like the 6 months of the gun place?
Crazy gun dealer.
Yeah, that was a wild time. A lot of talk about that.
It was
That
good
guy's
until
wild.
what's that?
That guy's wild.
No surprise.
The crazy gun dealer,
CKY
yeah.
knows crazy gun dealer. He was doing like Yosemite Sam ads, like as kids are being stepped over in their kindergarten class. We're like, what do you want us to say?
His ads now are pretty funny.
I'm back.
So tomorrow Blake won't be here,
Wow.
and you need to hear this. We did a little show off the air. I don't know if you know this, but so it's because of Argyle basketball.
This is my sports for the day, by the way. I don't know if you have a spot or anything you want to work in here.
What do you
in
mean?
but my sports today is Argyle basketball, so
I'm
let's
ready.
talk about it.
You have some more audio, or
No, not yet. I've done a lot of research.
okay?
We will live stream Blake's game tomorrow.
All right.
Go on.
Numbers.
No, so I was like, why? I don't know. I was thinking about this last night, and I asked Blake this morning. But so they have a game. The girls' team has a game at 1 p.m.
Correct.
on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to thinking, wait, that's when school is. And what an inconvenience for parents and
Let's play it.
really us. We're losing Blake for a day. Why?
I'm used to it.
Why at 1
Yeah.
p.m.?
That's just how the playoffs are at some level. Like,
But do you know why?
The head coach for the Lady Eagles basketball team has a son who is a freshman that plays on the boys team. Boys play on Friday evening. He wants to watch his son play, so the girls will be
Different
playing-
locations?
Yeah, the girls will play in Abilene. The boys play in Fort Worth. So this will be the closest I ever get to Craig Way, doing an Argyle basketball doubleheader tomorrow.
wow.
How far away is Abilene?
3 hours from Wiley. and then I don't know, 2 hours to Fort Worth.
Yeah, it's about 2 from Fort Worth.
Okay,
We can
so
get 2.5.
We can get it done.
but I'm
2
like,
for
wait.
Blake.
So how does the coach of the team have that much power that he can just tell everyone, "Hey, wait,
That is very
my
odd.
son is playing later, so I want to do that."
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of why he's spaced out playing on Mondays and Thursdays. Everyone else typically plays on Tuesdays, Fridays. And so I think they must have flipped to play Thursday or Friday. He lost the toss and got to call the time on Friday, and he said, okay, we're playing
Okay,
at 1
so
o'clock.
I didn't realize that's part of this process either. So they flip a coin for location?
Well, he probably says, I want to play on Thursday. Other team says, no, we want to play on Friday. Okay, flip for it. And
Okay.
the other team must have won the flip and said, okay, we're playing Friday.
He deferred.
And then he got to choose the game time, I would assume.
The
And they-
location must already be set.
Yeah, because they're out in
Okay, and so they
Lubbock.
would tell
Yeah.
him, though, all right, since you lost the date, you get to pick the time, and he can just pick the middle of the school day. So
Yeah.
now all the kids got to miss school. Not that the girls' games are probably real heavily attended, but that's
man,
really
when you
going
get to the playoffs, I would say it's.
It ain't going to help a 1 p.m. game, I wouldn't think was going to help things.
no.
He gets to
Sometimes they
take
let school
2
out.
teams out of school now.
Well, that's the first thing the students did.
What? Asked?
Yeah, try to get everyone out of school
Can they go?
and arrange a bus to go out there. I think some are.
Like, would that be worth?
That's
If
like your daughter's walkout. Oh, week in this class? Okay, yeah, I'll go.
Dude, I remember when I was in high school, people traveling down to Georgetown for girls and boys soccer, and they would miss a day. Like, just to go.
Yeah.
I'm positive people miss for the state basketball championships.
Yeah, because some of those are on Fridays.
Friday. Yeah. Damn, this guy swings a hammer. It'd be a tough look to get destroyed by Chavez
We won't.
if this is how it's going to go down, where you're calling the shots.
Yeah,
So-
let's bring that up. It's viewer mail day, but we got a good viewer mail about that girl. Do you have it?
I think I do.
Today's big mail.
The Thursday viewer mail follow-up extravaganza inclement fossil thing.
That's coming up later.
Yeah, so her name is Aaliyah Chavez, and she plays for Lubbock, Monterey. And she's the number 1 female college basketball player in the country in high school. Like, number one. Not, there's, sometimes there's 5 different sites who have a number 1. This is the consensus number 1. Chris emailed us, I've been to a handful of her games as my elementary age daughter's dance class does a dance at their halftime a couple times a year. Chavez is really good. The first time I watched her, I think she was a sophomore. It truly looked like a boy playing against girls. She just moves like a dude. The team around her kind of sucks, but Blake has the opportunity to see the potential Mexican Caitlin Clark on Friday. Now, as I aside and editorialize, that first part will limit it from being that second part nationally. But he concludes, and no, Jake, she is not better than Bronny James. To which I made a note here, don't even remember my own take on this.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think my point was that I think that they're probably like the top WNBA players ever right now are better basketball players than Bronny.
I think that's a bad take. I think Bronny's better than any female basketball player who's ever played.
I think you're probably right. So,
Just based on the fact that, they will scrimmage against, like, high school kids. Like, not even really good.
the women's basketball players?
Yeah,
They're at the top? Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be interested to see that, though.
anecdotally, our Ohio University's women's college basketball team, occasionally I would get, I don't know how I got involved with this, but I would get to play against them in scrimmages.
Like at the rec.
Because the coach would bring us in, would have some of us come in. I guess one of my buddies knew somebody. And so we would play pickup basketball, and I'm just terrible and whatever. But we would hold our own with the women's basketball team. Like, I never played high school basketball or anything like that, but could.
Did you have a couple dudes who were like dudes? Like real dude? Or was it just any collection of just
One was a
semi-athletic
one was a
college
pretty
dudes?
good, as I recall, high school basketball player, but the other people were just kind of dudes.
It's probably a bad point. But my experience with that was when I was in high school, the JV boys basketball coach was super horny. He was having sex with one of the hot girls in my grade. And he was also, as you might have evidence seen by that, he was trying to F everything that moved, which included the female JV coach, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we both practiced in the morning in separate gyms, but since he was trying to be cutesy and always like, hey, here's kind of trying to dunk in front of him, he would have us scrimmage them, except they would start out up 25 or something, and it would be 3s and 2s, V2s and 1s. And normal high school boys would be like, oh, whatever, let's flirt. This is not serious. But I was like, fuck that.
We are in a hole, guys.
You want to play?
Yeah, and I'm, of course, at that time just tall, so I'm on the block or in the post, and it's like, dude, it's torture chamber time. I got 5 fouls to use. I'm not.
Would you guys win?
It would get close. But mostly there was a sense. All the other boys on the team seemed to understand the instruction from the coach, which was this is just to F around and kind of flirt and play cutesy. And I'm like, oh, no. Protect the paint. So anyways, back to Aaliyah Chavez. I did watch a fair amount of her highlights.
Okay.
Little ball is life, little hoops hype.
Got a scouting report for us?
Chris is right. She does move like a man, like a fluid male athlete.
Is she tall and big, or is she more Caitlin Clarkey?
Well, Caitlin Clark's not that short, is she?
No, but I mean, she's lanky and
This girl's bigger. Clayton Clark,
she's not
6
like
foot.
whoever the
Chavez 5'11".
MVP of the WNBA is, I don't remember, but she seems to be more bulky.
Not
girl.
no.
I don't care.
You hit the first
Uh-huh.
top 2. Asia. Yeah.
Well, this girl's 5'11", and she also plays the point, which I think is just, as we have learned with Blake's team, just means the player who can dribble. But she's like a true point at 5'11", and while this is very reassuring to all of you out there, you too, President Trump, she does move like a man. Not like a man, I just mean she moves very fluidly like a male athlete. Still shoots like a girl. Still has a weird, and maybe that's how I shoot, but kind of has a weird Sean Marion chest flip. Like sometimes I feel like their hands are going up as they release the ball.
Sure.
She still does that. But you've got your work cut out for you, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think this is probably
She plays like LeBron. She's big, she shoots, and she gets to the paint. Sorry.
Yeah, she shoots deep threes.
She definitely shoots deep threes. The LaMelo era is not over.
No. But yeah, I think she's probably the most decorated recruit I've ever seen play against Argyle. I mean, Ashlyn Jackson was really good a few years ago. Went to Duke and was McDonald's All-American. But this chick, I'm the number 1 recruit. So it's exciting. Should have a big crowd. Hopefully a big listening crowd.
Number 1 recruit who is being, of course, like I said, it's in high school in Lubbock. She's being courted by Tech, Texas, LSU, although I don't know if LSU is still in the mix because as I was reading about on one of the message boards, her and her father's demand out of the gate is $1.3 million.
0.3.
And they balked at that. And so Texas and Tech, again, these are all like rivals and 24/7 posts I was reading, but that she's probably going to get about $1 million. Now, I don't know what that ends up meaning. Is it $1 million a year? I don't know what that means, but
That's amazing. Yeah, but didn't that Tech guy just make $4 billion on a sale?
yeah.
Now Tech's going to get every athlete out there?
Yeah, they have an oil and gas guy who doesn't appear to be that much older than, like, me. Maybe 40s. And he's gung-ho Texas Tech sports guy. And he's been done very well. I mean, that's why they had the football signing class they just had. Like, the guy will just openly tweet about it. Like, hey, dropping a bag on another one. Which every other school has always had. It's just when Tech shows up and does it, people are like, what? Who invited Cousin Eddie?
No, it's very interesting. That whole I remember for years, who's the oil guy that had
T. Boone Pickens.
Ohio State, or excuse me, Oklahoma State. Yeah.
CKY, Cowboy.
Yeah, that was always alleged. I guess that was good enough to get them at least to that level, but they could never, be really nationally prominent.
No, but I mean, that's still money well spent, man. If you're at Oklahoma State and they've had runs before, but if you look at the last 20 years, he got his money's worth.
Is that like tax deductible? Like, why do people?
Yeah.
If
sure,
you're just
yeah.
stoked on tech, you went to tech. Number one, I can't imagine giving my college money.
Same here. Well, I don't have one.
But
If I did,
we spend so much money on college, and then you now want donations?
I've given a few $100s here and there to UNT's grad program when they called me. And
Why?
at some point had the thought of like that. I just thought, why am I doing this? I liked the program. I liked the people there. They had cool stuff for you to do in the industry, which I guess costs money. But for some reason, I did it, and then that's one that like the food bank people will call me when my credit card expires, and I'm like, yeah, let's re-up it. But this one,
Yeah,
I
I liked my time a lot. I loved college. I thought it was the greatest, but like I paid for it. I paid at the time. I didn't. Eatsy's hasn't called me back after I went and bought food there, and then said, "Hey, would you consider just donating $5 since you enjoyed Eatsy's?" Like, yeah, no,
It makes no sense.
the chat says you can make it or tied to charity, like charitable deductions.
Yeah, I would figure so.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So our NIL counts as a charitable deduction. We have charity. We have charity money to dole out, which we've been threatening to do for a while, but we have to at some point here, maybe before tax day. Not sure how that works.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up here. It says it depends on if the NIL collective has a 501(c)(3), a charity status. I don't know. Let's look into it.
Do you guys think Luka's sad?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I watched some of that game really highlights.
I watched some this morning. I think he is sad. Of course he's sad.
I think it's... So follow me on this, because I know he went to Real Madrid, correct? And that was the biggest of the big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about their basketball program, but I would guess it's very big over there, even
It is.
like soccer.
It's one of the bigger ones in Europe.
But it feels like Luka is more of I'm from a tiny country, and somehow I'm so good I could bring this country into the Olympic tournament. Like, this country has no business being there, but having this one player that's this good gives us all hope, and we can actually be on the Olympic stage. And I felt that way too with the Mavs. The Mavs are an also-ran. I grew up; they were a joke. The '80s Mavs or whatever, and they were kind of like whatever. They're not really basketball royalty. They got in one of those teams that wins a title, but then they're gone. Like, some teams win a title and they stick around for a while, but then they're just like, this is the Mavs.
Well, the other thing, too, is they've never been thought of outside of DFW as cool. You know what I mean? Like, so even when they have their it's a big market, whatever, but it is kind of an also-ran because even Dirk wasn't really that cool. They've never been like the Lakers type thing. And I agree with you. I feel like it's an uncomfortable.
They're always going to be
Seems
second at the highest. Their height, they could be second in their own town because the Cowboys are that big. So, yeah, it was like, oh, that's still kind of an underdog-y type thing. He's, the little guy that just this one player could let us all imagine that we might be up there with the Lakers in Boston, at least while he's around. And then now he's with the Lakers, and it just feels so, it's very corporate-y. It's very, well, this is the machine that we just win titles, and we didn't have Wilt, so we went and got Wilt. We didn't have Kareem homegrown. We just went and got Kareem. People just want to come here. We pulled off some slick trades to even get Magic here while we had Kareem. And, the Kobe thing, similar. They kind of pulled some moves to get Kobe. Same thing with Shaq. That was bullshit. When Shaq went to L.A., that was terrible. But because he was a really good player in Orlando, and all of a sudden he's in the Lake. Like, wait, how did the Lakers get this guy? LeBron
Almost had Chris Paul in his prime.
They got that trade rejected, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't reject trades.
Just all of it. Yeah, it's weird that he's a part of that.
But yeah, so the same thing. Like, now LeBron just wants to go there because it's L.A. or because it's the Lakers, and now they end up getting Luka, and they're kind of set for the next decade, and it just doesn't seem right, and it just doesn't. I wonder this too. I'm sure the playing with LeBron thing is a weird bit because just like you have to acquiesce for the final introduction of the game or pregame, you're there with LeBron. Like Luka has never been anywhere where he's felt like I'm not the best player. It doesn't matter if he's 15 playing with 20-year-olds. It doesn't matter if they just trade for Kristaps and he's another unicorn. Like he's the best player. And then everything always revolves around him. And I think he is the best player there. But you do have this thing where LeBron is probably still the primary ball handler. I didn't get to watch I just watched highlights. But a lot of it is LeBron still bringing the ball down the floor. And, that's the way Luka plays.
It might have been about even, but the fact that it's even is crazy for Luka. Between AR, Luka, and LeBron, it was about even, just back and forth, solo ISO ball. But seeing it be anything more or anything less than 75% of the time Luka is very weird.
Yeah, like you want to. If you can reduce the wear and tear on him, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and I think the way the Mavericks had been doing it this year was perfect. They had moved him. His usage rate this year was down well below his career low outside of his rookie year. They had figured it out this year. They had figured out a way to take him off the ball some. Now he got hurt, and that's a whole other get lost in the weeds about how much of his conditioning had to do with his injury. But the Mavericks had figured out this year a way to save him by using him off the ball. Last night he looked awful. I don't think he looks happy. It's going to take some time. We know that. Dude, the Mavericks went and got Kyrie and missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time. And they're not in a terrible spot like the Mavs are. But as I was saying to some of the boys this morning, like, man, you watch this Lakers game and it's like they could really use like a PJ Washington type and maybe like one real center, like a Gafford type that can finish a role. Then that team with Luka be set. Because watching him try to do pick and roll work with Jackson Hayes is disgusting. You are disrespecting my man's name. Just lost lob passes, it's just gross. And then they can't defend anybody because they traded Anthony Davis and he was their entire defense.
Yeah.
But they have LeBron and Luka and a couple of other pieces that are good enough. They're going to get into the playoffs. The Mavericks, I don't know. But yes, he does look, and I watched him even in the postgame, and he doesn't look that happy to me.
It was really weird seeing him inbound the
He got
basketball.
humbled. Twice he's inbounder. I mean, LeBron was hot, and Luka was like 1 for a million, so I get it.
Still.
But it was still weird. And then LeBron made one and missed the other, but, watching Luka throw full court passes to LeBron, that's tough. It's not going to get better, folks.
No, I mean, it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look right. Him in that uniform for sure. I don't know. It's. I mean, we're resigned to it. We can't change it. I'm pretty sure it's not a dream now.
Yeah.
But what order do you guys want to go in? I have Jake calling for the ball. I have Blake calling for the ball. We have big viewer mailbag
I want
Thursday.
Blake Bitt.
You want Blake Bitt?
Yeah.
Well, then I got to tell you it's brought to you by Ownwell. Ownwell helps homeowners save on property taxes. 88% of their customers receive a reduction. That's the good reduction. Save an average of $1,100. It says 1.1K here, and that always says you sign up in 3 minutes. You go to ownwell.com/thedumbzone. Sign up in 3 minutes, and they also, I guess you can put your information in there, and they will contact you. So, how did they contact you just a couple weeks ago? They sent you an email saying, "Hey, I can lower this bill on you."
Yeah. Send me an email. Reduce my phone bill. In fact, I'll show you my little portal here, and these are all the ways that they can help you save: electric bill, cable, security system, home phone. And then when you want to re-up on something, you click on it and say, reduce my electric bill, and then they will get to work.
Wow.
It's amazing.
What's the CTA?
Ownwell.com.
That stands for call to action.
Ownwell.com/thedumbzone. You pay nothing up front, 25% contingency fee, which is lower than what you're going to get at the rest of the market in this space. And again, you only pay that if they save you money at ownwell.com/thedumbzone.
Very nice of Ownwell to sponsor this Blake bit. I think corporate called us and said we'd like to sponsor this particular segment.
That's
right
the
here.
email I got.
So thank you very much to Ownwell. So I've been holding on to this for a little bit. And I really enjoy gadgets. Electronics. I miss going to Fry's and Circuit City and just walking around, playing with stuff, looking at it. I love the demos.
A little sharper image.
Yeah, that was good.
Fry's was the best.
What was it? Yeah. Radio Shack. I don't know. I miss those kinds of stores. And I feel like it also kind of leads you into like where technology is headed, and I enjoy that part. Like what are going to be the staples in the next decade. And so something I try to not miss reading up on and watching a bunch of videos is CES, Consumer Electronics Series. And kind of wanted to just update you guys on some of the big things that was at CES 2025 in Las Vegas.
I love it.
So it does kind of give you a glimpse into what we'll be doing in the next decade, because I went back and I pulled some articles from CES 2015, and it was all about OLED TVs, which is the staple now. They were getting you ready for streaming TV. Sling TV was big at that one, and the idea that you could stream all of your favorites with one box. And I think TiVo was kind of a part of it.
Which is an idea, of course, that I had in 2004 in college.
Yeah, in Plano. Yeah. Drones, smart home stuff, wearable technologies. That was all the stuff that was going on 10 years ago, and now it's just a part of your everyday life.
Ubiquitous.
So I've got some video to kind of help illustrate what we're talking about here. But here's just like the few top things at CES. And the first one is, rather than charge your phone, you just replace the case. So you've got a couple different cases inside this little box, and you insert your phone, and it will trade out the case, which charges the battery. So rather than your phone is hindered to this cable for a couple hours at night or what have you, you just insert your phone into this box, and it will switch the battery inside, which I thought is a pretty good idea.
I don't really understand how it's doing it, even watching it, but it is cool. It kind of looks like, you're putting a disc into like a Sega.
Yeah.
Like a cartridge type thing.
Right. But just within a few seconds, you get a fresh battery.
And on your screen right there, on your interface, it shows you where all the batteries are as far as their charging.
Yeah.
The one thing I could see about this that would be helpful is that it would keep people from grabbing their phone when they're in bed. Like if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, I can't go to sleep. A lot of people just grab their phone. This would make that harder. So it would be stuck over on something as opposed to on something.
No, you set it. You pop it in there for 2 seconds.
Yeah, so
and it gives you a new case.
Right.
Basically, so the case is
So there's
charging.
always a case charging.
Yes.
You don't leave it on there overnight.
No.
After. Okay.
No.
It's like replacing the battery instead of charging the battery.
And the charging case costs $120.
Which is-
So would you pay $570?
Well, I
You
don't
know,
think
I
it's
can see
replacing the
utility.
battery. I think the case is charging the battery, isn't it? Well, whatever.
I'm saying it's like that. It's
Yeah.
like you
Okay.
you drive up and replace your battery instead of drive up, park, charge that battery.
So this box costs $700 right now, which is really expensive.
That's how all this goes.
But a glimpse into the future, maybe we're not charging our stuff anymore. We're just replacing either cases or little charging ports. Okay, so the next one, this is a robot vacuum. Now, these little Roombas most people have, but the new technology with this is that most Roombas will just like scoot your socks and it'll get stuck and it'll just jam it to where it just malfunctions. This has a little arm that'll pop out and pick up debris in its way and will put it in a pile off to the side.
I don't know. It's an arm that kind of looks like a mic arm or a lamp, like a desk lamp. This just seems super cumbersome to me. Also, obviously, I have the desire to kick it right off of its post right there.
But that's the main reason why I don't like these Roombas is this, well, our house is never clean enough to run one. But if it can move stuff out of the way, then maybe that's a positive.
I'm going to go fail on this.
Okay.
It's too
These are not for
cumbersome.
everybody, but I just wanted to give you a
I just don't
glimpse.
think that this is, as I'm watching it work, it seems like this is,
It's in beta. It's in beta. But one of these is probably going to cost you about $1,500.
So this thing's going to take my job, huh? Okay, pal.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 is something that is for sure going to take off. And it's televisions will not have cables running out of the back of it anymore.
Okay.
They what brand is this? Samsung has a like an all-in-one box where you plug in your cable box if you still use one, your Xbox and all that, and it syncs to the TV via Bluetooth. And so this little unit right here will just be on a shelf or behind the TV, and all of your electronics will run to that. That way you don't have cables running from behind your TV if you do have it mounted.
How does the power work?
Boy, I'm very old manny on that. I mean, I like a nice hard wire.
Boy, I don't.
Yeah, but for
It's
far
just
as the
as far as
aesthetic,
making sure that it works type thing.
yeah, no, there's definitely something about that.
But, yeah, things are, better and better. But it is nice to...
So what are they selling? The TV comes with this Connect box?
Yeah, and so all of your stuff will run into that. The other thing is now when TVs are off, they're just kind of an eyesore because it's just a big black thing up in your room. TVs now like this will
That's what I have.
Will display artwork
I bought
or
a frame.
pictures or something. Yes, frames.
We have that's a Samsung frame. That's just the new one. But
So
that's
your
what we,
TV has a frame on it, so it looks like a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it's off and not being used, it's a
It
part
looks
of
cool.
That's a
part
bit-
of the design.
That's a bit like the future. Like
Yes.
if you have Back to the Future or whatever, the big TV on the wall, but it's always displaying something. It's always maybe it's displaying an aquarium.
I'm sure you could pull this off, but one thing, speaking of like Back to the Future and depictions of the future you would see that I still think is a bit weird. The integration of your let's say your phone and your television to where like if I'm sitting there with my family and my we're watching TV, but my mom calls and wants to FaceTime, the interaction between the television and us, like that should just come up on the screen. And the camera, the TV should be able to work as a camera, HD, whatever.
That it's
If you want it to. And then they're on the big screen, like they're in their house, because that's what you would see in movies. Is
That's
like,
very depiction of the future, but I don't think we want video calls.
Man, I think
Every depiction of the
behind.
future from the past had us by now doing video calls, and we have that technology, but
do your kids not do it a lot?
never.
Okay, that's all I
rarely.
need to know. Because I mean,
Rarely. They will do it though.
I feel like I see people out in public doing it all.
Yeah,
the
they
time.
do it with each other.
I'm like, what? I don't do that, but I see people doing it, like walking, holding a phone, teens, all the time. So I just assumed we were old. But that's so the box is here, and then if I have like an Apple TV, what do I plug the Apple TV into?
Into the box.
Into the
Everything
box.
goes into the box.
Okay.
That way the TV most of the time is
Pulling
artwork
from-
or pictures from your phone or whatever.
Okay.
But you just don't have cables coming out of the wall.
Where's your Xbox?
It'll go into that box, but now the Xbox doesn't have to be, the HDMI cord doesn't have to run up to the TV where it looks bad.
So you can put that thing underneath, and then put the Xbox next to it and plug it in, or your Apple TV or whatever.
Let's skip 4, CK.
Too hot to handle?
4 is you're not going to mow your front yard anymore. You're going to have kind of like a Roomba do it.
Can she still ride it?
I don't know. They're not big enough right now. 5 was probably the biggest thing.
Feels like an answer to the deportation situation. As people are like, oh, I wonder if white Americans will step up and do these jobs. And we're like, no, robots.
Yeah, robots. 5, this was the biggest theme of CES this year.
Yes.
And it was just smart glasses. And so, we've seen this trend in technology where the iPhone was cool because it was an iPod and a phone. Or your watch is now tracking your heart rate and you can get calls on it. They're just trying to maximize everything on you. And glasses are the next thing. So some cool stuff is some of them have like hearing aids in them. So if you're hard of hearing, it can boost hearing for you. Some will transcribe conversations that you're having so you can read along with somebody talking to you.
Oh, my God.
So you can have subtitles for your life.
My wife will be so all over. She loves subtitles on everything.
I mean, if I find myself having to understand like a Romani street gang in Ireland or England or wherever
that's
they
the only
were, then
time
perhaps,
it's acceptable. But I like.
I don't think I need it for the show.
I like
No,
watching
that's-
videos or movies and TV without subtitles.
I didn't come here to read.
Right.
Wasn't that great?
But she has to have that on everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing.
Yeah, obviously
And I hate it on games when you got the
games is a no-go.
You got the graphics on the game, and then you got those graphics.
Yeah, they hit it. It's if you're traveling, it's big for transcription. But they said that you can get turn-by-turn navigation if you've got your maps on your phone, and it can go up to your glasses and tell you where to turn.
Can I make a prediction?
Sure.
Whatever he says right now, don't listen to it. He'll have these.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The glasses?
Yeah. I could 100%.
Well, I was about to
see-
say that would help with the landscaper if you're talking about translation
Yeah.
on certain things. You ever have a conversation with someone that you just have to read it into your phone and then show them the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, but
Yeah.
I try to give it my
Give it the old-
college try with
the old-
Spanish. Yeah, like, oh, no, I know. But this, to me, feels very similar to my apprehension about, like, VR goggles. And I have not seen those take off in the way that I was told they would.
I thought they would too. This was like a decade ago, right?
Yeah, and there's still – I know that they've come a long way.
But I thought by now I would be coming home at night. I would call you up and say, hey, let's go to the Lakers
Watch
game.
the little Lakers.
I would
Hornets.
be courtside at a Lakers game. I'll have my VR helmet. You have yours. You're at home. But we could actually be sitting next to each other and talking about the game and whatever.
Yeah, and then we leave the game, and I'm like, what do you got going on? And you're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I'm actually going to see Beetlejuice with Lauren Boebert. And I press a button, and then I'm in a theater getting whacked off by a congresswoman from Colorado.
Boy, that'd be great.
Yeah. I don't think that's in the technology yet. But maybe.
That's cool stuff.
Number 6, I'm not done unless you want me to be. And then I
You
can-
just
and then I
gave
can
the
wrap up.
sound of like you were done, so then
I'm done with the smart glasses. This one is very strange to me.
Okay.
It's a robot powered exoskeleton, and it's not replacing your muscles. It's assisting. So it's targeted towards people that want to hike or run that can't. So it offers up to 80 pounds of strength assistance.
So it's a reverse weight training jacket.
Kind of.
Boy, we're all going to get so fat.
And kind of, but then they're trying to target it and say it makes physically demanding tasks feel effortless. And they try to, like, if you have to do a lot of lifting at work, rather than using your back and, becoming decrepit, you can use one of these things to help to assist you.
I could see that. I also find it interesting that for the beta test here, the model they had to find a kind of fat model. Like, she's very attractive, but you couldn't just get like a super fit woman to do this. You also look like a fool.
Yeah. But I was trying to
Can you
think.
put one on your wiener? Make this thing work a little better?
I was trying to think. They probably won't consumer level. I don't know if anyone's going to want to put this on to go on a run or a hike. But if you do have to do some lifting in a warehouse or something, and you don't want to put all of that strain on you, then maybe there is a use there.
Give it to the military.
Well, I mean, I think yes, and that's just we need just cyborg troops anyways, which is kind of where we're headed. right? So I mean,
Yeah.
this is just like the middle
So it's
ground
just a-
between just having a full robot.
It's a technology war then.
Yeah. Yeah, but that one's interesting. It's hard for me to imagine somebody who is like really big being like, well, what if I could just put myself in this cast and go run?
Yeah, it's not.
Like, if you want to get in shape, you're probably going to just start walking.
It might turn into that, but that was not the demo that we were shown at CES.
Someone's going to have one that they have masked, and they're going to run a marathon, and
On a girls'
there's going to
team.
be
Yeah.
a scandal. Yeah.
Yeah. Executive order.
Number 7, I'll make this super quick, but screens will not just be stagnant anymore. They can stretch, they can help with 3D effects, but they can also get bigger or smaller or move or
What do you mean?
have you. But like your phone or your laptop, it's just that's what it is. But now that their ability to stretch
pliable.
and move and
I've seen a phone that bends.
That's
Yeah,
what
which-
this is.
which
bends
I'm
in
not
half.
I don't know. I'm not on board with yet, but it just seems like this is where screen technology is headed.
Yeah, and some of these are not just like 2D. Like they're bending from the corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the same, well, you saw the tablet. If it's, you want to watch a movie, you can make the screen bigger. If you want to do something smaller and play a game, you can make it smaller.
Fail.
Might. It might.
Back in my
I'm
day,
going to short this.
we just had 2 dimensions.
Yeah. Number 8, this will also be really quick, but this was too cool to not show you. This company, I'm pretty sure in Japan, made a spoon that can mimic the taste of salt. And so what they're doing is they're getting soup in this spoon and pushing a button, and through some way of electricity makes it taste like it's been salted.
Yet you don't have the sodium.
Right. Right.
I think I've heard of stuff like this. Something you can use, like different things you can use to make something taste better without actually altering
Yeah.
the
And so maybe
food.
this is where we're headed, where you just pretend that it tastes sugary or salty and it's not, and it's better for you.
Dude, if they made like a jalapeno ranch or a queso version, I would be the fittest man alive. I would just eat nothing but spinach.
So that's the Kirin electric salt spoon.
If they could make spinach taste good, you're saying?
Well, I eat spinach now because it has no taste. But if I could make everything taste good, Like I was trying to explain to Nora last night, we're trying new foods, and I'm like, here's what I can tell you about an avocado. It doesn't taste like anything. And she's like, well, then why would anyone eat it?
Yeah. She's got a point.
I'm like, yeah, that might have been a bad sell.
I don't know. Yeah, I disagree with that. I don't like avocado.
I know you don't. I could get people not liking guacamole, but to me, avocado is just there for thickness or fat. It has
texture,
no taste.
too.
To
It just
texture's
feels-
one thing.
yeah.
They put solar panels on
By the
a
way,
lot of stuff.
That only is coming to us from Asia.
Yeah.
That's
I know. That's why I said it was probably
Extremely
Japan.
Asian invention.
They had a bucket hat with solar panels that can charge your phone. They have a cooler with solar panels that can charge your phone. They had a ton of different sleep headphones where all links with your Calm app, links with your alarms. You can fall asleep to it. It can keep you asleep. There was a bunch of sleep headphones options.
I have a new sleep mask with headphones in it.
Okay, there you go.
See, I wear the big headphones, the big Sony headphones, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And the other night, I had fallen asleep because I don't always turn them on. Sometimes I just put them on to block out
Yeah, that seems
the wife over there tossing and turning.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I turn them on with the noise canceling. So I turn them on and fall asleep. And it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, but this really loud voice is like, battery 10%. Like
Oh,
it tells you
yeah.
when the battery gets low. And I was online for a half hour trying to find out how to disable this effing
Yeah.
thing because I was so mad.
People are really scared about blue light now, so they're now kind of like your Kindle. They're making cell phones that have that lack of blue light in them for those that are interested.
What is that bit?
Blue light?
Yeah, what's wrong?
Well, it's
And-
supposed to help. It keeps you up
Yeah.
at night.
And some think that's how the government controls you.
Boy, talk about asking Nico a question and be like, some are saying this is a bad trade. Well, some people think this is a
Were you into that?
No, I recently just saw a video of
Because you used to.
Joe Rogan.
No way.
that said that the government bought a patent on blue light, and that's why all technology has it now. I don't know.
But you used to be really conspiracy guy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like Loose Change was
Loose Change changed my life. Yep.
top 5 movie. How about Chemtrails?
I wasn't big on that one. I was more of the 9/11, Sandy Hook, just
What's Sandy
that
Hook?
stuff.
Child actors.
Is that the elementary school? You thought that was fake?
No, I was
questions.
just reading things that said it might have been.
But at the time, you were kind of on
I'm
board?
an idiot 19-year-old. Yeah,
No,
sure.
no, that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
So you actually were like, you thought they hired actors.
Yeah, because they were laughing before they went up on stage or like on camera, which is apparently a method acting thing where you kind of laugh and it resets you into sadness. And then some Facebook group was created the day before the event. They had all these like parking things where it's like FBI parking this way, and there were pictures of it the day of the event before the shooting. I don't know. I don't remember any of it.
Some of the
It doesn't
kids had
sound like
appeared in earlier shootings and stuff like that, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and
And you thought like it was Hollywood makeup, and it was all
Dude, this is a very popular thing.
how? Why? How could people think that?
I don't know, man.
Like, how could that?
There's a significant portion of our population.
It would be easier to do a fake moon landing.
Yeah. But that was a long time ago. We've come a long way. 60 years later, we can fake school shootings like it's nothing.
I think the Sandy Hook one that got me out of being conspiracy guy, because that one felt bad.
You're like, all right, they're too young for me to dilute myself for my own personal entertainment.
Yeah. Wow.
Cost Alex Jones a lot of money.
Yeah, it did. They've got smart water plants now, or just it'll water your plant without you having to do it. So if you're on a schedule, if you're out of town, why haven't we done this already?
Well, I mean, you can turn your sprinklers on to a certain...
In the house,
like indoor plants that you got to water.
Oh.
You don't have to have Trey come over.
Yeah.
Where does the water come from?
Blind Josh, they're making smart canes now with like a speaker and a microphone and a whole bunch of other stuff. But let's skip ahead to the very
that's
end.
going to be a pain in my ass.
It's not really a cane.
Play that last video. So Delta had their conference at the Sphere in Vegas. And you can see on screen, if you're watching along with us, that they are you're inside the cockpit on a Delta flight.
Oh, I'm upside down.
Yeah, which is a funny week to be doing this. But then they would blow air through there like you're in a plane. It would rumble a little bit on landing, and then
I've been to the Omni.
yeah, it's cool.
Isn't that what it was when we were kids?
Yeah.
You listen to Kenny Loggins do Highway
Sure.
to the Danger Zone as you're like looking over a building. So what's the point of this? It's a simulator?
No, it was just a new way to do a conference. But they did have a couple of announcements. The first is they're trying to launch this new AI assistant on your app or on their app, where
Al?
you I don't know what they're calling it,
Allie.
but it basically just takes care of the entire reservation for you. You say you want to go to Denver on this date, it will book the cheapest or first class ticket there and from. It will arrange rideshare for you. You don't have to go through a security check. It'll take you right to your terminal. If you're wearing your smart glasses, it has walking directions to where your gate is inside the airport. When you sit down, it'll automatically connect you to the Wi-Fi, and then you've got all of your Netflix and all that subscriptions already waiting for you on your tablet in front of you. It's insane.
That Minions movie. What was that first one?
Despicable Me?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole premise of this. This is all leading us there. Isn't the whole point where
Wait, is that Minions?
is that the one where society is
No.
or no? Am I thinking
I
of a
thought-
different
Yeah,
one?
it's not the... yeah.
Minions is Minions?
Am I thinking of a different one with
Yeah, you are.
automated?
Yes.
It was around the same time.
Yes.
But the big, just giant fat guy from the future, because everything is done for him. This is what we're leading to.
This is going to drive me crazy.
So this is the last thing, and I'm saying it because I'm pretty
like
sure.
Mechanical something that was in the garbage dump. You know what I'm
This
talking.
is so
you know what I'm
bad.
talking about, right?
Check the chat.
You've seen it.
I have.
Okay, we'll get it. We'll get it at some point today.
Chat says Wall-E.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like cartoon idiocracy kind of. Yeah, Minions is they're Minions. I think
Well, no,
they're a little-
there's Despicable Me leads to Minions, but
Yeah.
I thought maybe never mind.
got it.
So Delta is investing $200 million in Joby, which is an aviation company, in exchange for a home-to-airport flight service. So rather than getting in your car and parking at the airport or getting an Uber to take you there, it will
I
have
usually take an elite rides.
Me too.
an eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, to pick you up from your house and take you straight to the terminal,
Okay.
which I feel like was made for Dan.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
made for all of us.
I know that there's
Elite Rides will offer that someday.
like going to be Joby is the company. They're going to have air taxis.
Yeah.
They say. I don't know, man.
So that'll be like Back to the Future?
If you've already decided you're out on a helicopter, which I think I have, I think I've done all my helicoptering.
Yeah, I have not, but
Then I don't
won't-
know that I'm getting in a Joby Aviation electric air taxi.
I won't be in version 1.
No.
Like, I didn't even get the first iPhone.
But I don't think
I got to wait.
I don't know if DFW is the right audience, but if you're LAX or O'Hare in Chicago and traffic is a beating around there, maybe. But there was CES 2025 and what's on the horizon.
Hey,
I like
way to go,
this.
Blake.
Same time next year?
Y'all vote on it.
Did they update you on the release date of the Tail 2 cameras?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Okay, now I have Jake's bit or big viewer mailbag. Who's going to pick?
I'll go.
Here's Jake. Brought to you by Fair Lease Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Fairlease.org. Fairlease is where I would like you to investigate when it comes to leasing your next vehicle. Drive now, pay later, 0 money down, no payment for 60 days. When you go to fairlease.org, you can talk to Danny. You can talk to Matthew. That's who Blake's been working with. We heard from a listener who had his sweet-looking Chevy Tahoe delivered right to his driveway. Right there, with a low payment. So when you go to fairlease.org, there'll be a spot that says request a quote. You can then select the Dumb Zone on the How Did You Hear About Us page. And we will all be happy with that, Vladi. Fairlease.org. Go lease your next vehicle there. It's very, very easy. Have them deliver it to your office and stunt on them hoes at work at fairlease.org.
Yeah, that's even better than getting flowers delivered at work.
Yeah, I think so. Especially
What is that out there?
if there's a lady at your work trying to smash.
Who's bringing that brand new vehicle out there? Oh, is that for me?
Yeah, that's pretty.
Oh, okay.
That's a flex for sure.
Would you like to now have sexual relations with me, lady?
Maybe we
sits next to me.
Maybe we start with lunch.
Oh,
but
okay.
We're all on the same page.
I could drive you.
Yep.
Well, how'd you get to work today? I don't know. I had this taxi thing flew me here. Fair Lease.
Fairlease.org. So, I told you guys that my wife had joined a book club. But what I found out
What a
over the
happy
last
day.
day or so, it was fantastic.
Is it weekly?
She actually started this book club.
Oh.
Started it.
Yeah. Because she was talking to me this morning. She has a real problem. Like, I get in bed by about 9. Maybe it's
Is that your music playing or mine?
Mine.
Oh, okay.
I'll stop. I'll default to
No,
mine.
It's
I
pretty
thought
much-
you turned it on for your thing.
I did.
And now okay.
I didn't like talking over silence.
a 9 o'clock bedtime for me, or getting bed. I'm usually asleep by like 9:15, 9:30 at the latest. Absolute latest. She will stay up and read. My wife reads a lot. And I kind of forget that sometimes because she reads stuff that typically I'm not that interested in. But then she'll tell me about it, and I'm like, oh, maybe the Lisa Marie Presley life story is interesting. And typically it is. You know, she'll read a book about Princess Diana, or like Dan did, Jessica Simpson, or Pamela Anderson. She's like, this is a crazy story.
Has she read the Jessica Simpson?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So she reads a lot of that type of stuff, and while it's interesting maybe in tidbits, I've never thought, like, oh, I want to read that book. And then she'll read, like, what was the Native American Texas book? Is it Empire of the something moon.
Flower Moon.
Flower Moon.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers. Yeah.
Read that. And a bunch of books like that. We're driving through Texas, and she won't stop talking to me about how this used to be Comanche land. I'm like, well, tough break. Times change, Shug.
It was all field.
So, I also know that she was really into these books about. She reads a lot of books about, like, the Crown, right? She listens to podcasts like Noble Blood, very popular with the ladies. It's just a podcast series. It's almost like Dan Carlin for women. Because the whole thing is just about stories from the last 1,000 years of England.
Huh.
You know, a lot of death, a lot of incest, politics, power, that sort of thing. So I remember sometime in the last couple years, post like Game of Thrones airing on television, she told me that she had gotten into a book series that was kind of like Game of Thrones. And it was called A Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I would hear her kind of talk about it, and I'd be like, man, that sounds really weird. Like, there's fairies, maybe dragons. It's a lot of politics, just like Game of Thrones, where it's like this house fighting with this house. There's always some sexual interest. But I never really paid that much attention to it. I'm like, that seems kind of weird. And then she would say, well, we watched Game of Thrones. There were fairies, there were dragons, there was sex, there was politics. And, you know, like I said, I never really paid that much attention to it. So I was talking to her this morning about the book club, and she's like, yeah, I started this because I asked another group of friends if they wanted to have one. They said no, so I hit up all the moms from the two schools Nora's been to, and I got them together. And she's like, I started it, but the book I submitted the first time around didn't get selected.
I always wonder how that's done.
She said there's about 15 of them on the group. 7 or 8 of them came to the thing, and only 3 of them submitted a book, and hers wasn't one of them. She's like, I don't know if I did the best job selling it. Because her next book she's suggesting, which she's about halfway through now, is the Jewel Thief book
So it's like
that you just read.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that Sarah had talked about with us, the Dallas Jewel
King of
Thief.
Diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's like the NFL Hall of Fame procedure.
Yes,
Where you
or
have to advocate for your guy.
or trying to get people to watch, you know, Hot Rod at the Campound. This sort of thing.
My wife is – I should have asked her, but she's recently very excited because she's in 2 book clubs, and somehow she was able to talk both of them into reading her current – so now she's reading 1 book.
Why are you trying to just join these things to get out of the work?
Right. I don't know. But
makes no
she's
sense.
like, oh, this is great. I don't have to read 2 books now.
So she's telling me this morning, she's like, well, I'm going to do the Jewel Thief book next time because this time the book I suggested didn't get picked, you know, because it was one of the Court of Thorn and Roses books and I didn't sell it that well. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, well, you know, it's fairy smut. And I said,
You're like, no, I don't know.
I'm sorry, what is that? Is that like a recognized genre? And I'm Googling it as she's telling me. She's like, oh, yeah, it's fairy smut. She's like, it's a whole genre. Like, that's what this is. And we're talking about it, and I'm looking it up, and
Fairy smut.
yeah, I'll pull the
So is this like witches and warlocks?
Fairy
and-
smut refers to a genre of erotic fiction within fantasy literature, specifically focusing on sexual encounters involving fairies, often characterized by magical elements in a whimsical, otherworldly setting, leading fans to commonly label this type of story, like A Court of Thorn and Roses, fairy smut. So she's talking to me, and I'm Googling, and I'm like, okay, fairy smut. I needed to learn a little more about this. And she starts saying something that I couldn't really understand. It sounded to me like she was saying the Avatar. She kept saying, like, oh, that's what they do with Avatar. And I was like, what are you saying? How does this have anything to do with Avatar? And she goes, no, Akatar. She's like, this is part of like the Akatar lore. And I acted like, okay, what is she saying? I'm going to keep just letting this slide. Finally, I was like, what are you saying? She's like, Akatar, A Court of Thorn and Roses.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So she's like, well, that's what we call it. And now I'm like, okay, this is I need to peel the onion here. There's 4 books, and she's read all of them. They were all #1 bestsellers. There's another book along this same vein called Fourth Weekend, which is part of a series of books. She told me that our local bookstore on Grapevine, Maine, Talking Animals. Super cool little independent bookstore that they opened at midnight on like a Tuesday night last month, and there were 30 or 40 women there for the release of Fourth Weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Certainly they had those books earlier. Why
Or
wouldn't
no,
they
what is
just
it called? Not Fourth.
put them on sale at, maybe it's like a movie release. You can't do it until a certain day.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I was going to say, they couldn't just sell them at 9?
I mean, it's just like going to go get Madden, like we would do.
Yeah, but
The Weekend series?
you were
And they just
also
have different-
kids. I would guess these are not
I
like
think I wrote the name down wrong.
16-year-old kids. I would guess these are all older ladies.
Yeah, and they want to go home right away and read the book and come.
Is that what this is all about?
Let's see if that's what this is all about. So what I did is I
bought
went
the
to
audiobook.
the audiobook.
Okay.
I asked her, so there's 4 books in this first one, and I said, which one do people really start doing it? And she's like, it's in all of them. She's like, but in the second book, the protagonist, who's a female, she actually becomes a fairy. And now she's in fairy world fucking with fairies. And I'm like, okay, well, this audiobook is 24 hours long. How am I going to figure this out? Well, the good news is the horny people of the Akatar community have their own Reddit. And one of the tabs on that Reddit page was kind of sheepishly like, hey, not for me or anything, but like, has anybody taken the time to separate like the chapters with all the sex scenes out in these 4 books? Like, just wondering. And pretty quickly there was a reply that had the steamiest chapters in all 4 books, and all the replies were like, oh, I can't be the only one who listens to this on the way to work. Just a bunch of Susan Boyles is what we're talking about here.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, let's check it out. So I bought the audiobook for $20 of A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, the second book in this series. And yeah, let's see if we can dive in here. This is about midway through the book.
If you want an Illyrian male's attention, you'd be better off grabbing him by the balls. We're trained to protect our wings at all costs.
So we have the male character now who's talking. And she asks the female character who just became a fairy, is like, what's up with your wings? Can I touch your wings?
We're trained to protect our wings at all costs. Some males attack first, ask questions later if their wings are touched without invitation. And during sex?
The logical thing to follow up with.
The question blurted out. Reese's face was nothing but feline amusement as he monitored the mountains. During sex, an Illyrian male can find completion just by having someone touch his wings in the right spot.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about a male G-spot on the wings. Why did this detail need to be added? Presumably, the male has a penis. But we needed to make sure that you knew, like, hey, there's a way a woman can get to him here. Through his wings, his weakness.
My blood thrummed. Dangerous territory. More lethal than the drop below. Have you found that to be true? His eyes stripped me bare. I've never allowed anyone to see or touch my wings during sex. It makes you vulnerable in a way that I'm not comfortable with. Too bad, I said.
So we're talking now, that's a thumb in the butt.
Yeah.
That's
That's the thumb in the butt.
I
I got to be real comfortable with you.
do, yeah. It can get me going.
Yeah.
But
I've never done it because I don't.
that puts me in a weird place.
So as I'm 2.5 hours into my sleep cycle and 3
Thumb is
hours
weird.
from...
Let's go index finger. Go ahead, sorry.
You probably start there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had a thumb.
I don't know why I use thumb.
It's 12:30 at night. I'm 3 hours into sleep and 3 hours away from getting up, and she's just over there reading
about
thousands of pages about how the wing can make you jizz.
So the story is it's a normal human who was transformed into a fairy?
Yeah,
in some
so
way?
I asked the question. I'm like, well, if it happened in the second book, are you saying you read the whole first book? This would be like if I were watching Heat. And like midway through the movie, they're like, Al Pacino's a minotaur. Like, so it was a real book before? And then she tried to start explaining it to me, and it felt exactly like someone trying to explain Game of Thrones. And I was like,
Is a fairy tiny?
no.
So you could be a big fairy.
I think they're human-sized.
A human-sized
Human-sized
fairy.
titties and
Does she
everything.
have like a wand?
No.
She has wings, though?
No, yes. I think you're thinking of like the tooth fairy. But there's like an entire mythology
flying around-
behind fairy folk.
Oh, okay. I'm learning that, too.
Yeah. Let's keep going. So she's like with this male fairy, and she's kind of like his concubine now. I'm not sure, but this is all from
But
one.
male fairies like lady fairies.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's not a.
Male fairies. Okay.
Yeah. It's not a slur.
Yeah.
The High Lord's whore. Who
Wait,
I'd-
wait,
That's
wait, what?
she is now.
The High Lord's whore.
She's the High Lord's
Who
whore.
I'd become under the mountain. Who the world expected me to be. The dangerous new pet that Moore's father would now seek to feel out.
I don't know what any of that means, but
Reese's hand slid along my bare waist, the other running down my exposed thigh. Cold. His hands were so cold I almost yelped. He must have felt the silent flinch. A heartbeat later, his hands had warmed. His thumb, curving around the inside of my thigh, gave a slow, long stroke, as if to say, sorry.
I mean, again, part of the weirdness here is that my wife has spent a lot of time with this stuff. Like, she has another life, basically. She watches a lot of TV shows I know nothing about, and she reads 1,000-page books in 4 days.
And she's pitching this to book club.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I thought this one was so good.
Yeah. And then
upset that they didn't take it and thought she needs to do a better job next time.
Yeah. But the result was I got to hear the pitch of this book, and she's like, well, I told him it was like fairy smut, and there's like there's a lot of fairies having sex, and there's kind of a female empowerment type thing. And then she said someone in the book club texted her and was like, hey, I haven't started the official book yet because I started reading your fairy smut book, and I can't put it down.
So wait, it's female empowerment because she wants to be the High Lord's whore?
I gather that there's some level of like taking back your own sexuality.
Yeah.
And it's like people are calling her a whore, and she's like, yeah, well, I'm doing what I want to do.
Okay.
You can't place expectations on me.
This is great for your ability to use porn as well, though.
One of the first things I thought of was like, dude, if this were, women would be grossed out if men were listening to literal, specific descriptions of sex. If you were listening to a guy be like, and then she asked me if I could jizz all about her face and mouth.
Well, yeah, I don't want to hear that. I just want to see.
Well, I know, but people would think that was gross.
I know, but
women would be like, you're sick.
Women are, but that's the part of sex that they want and enjoy, the emotional, the foreplay. I don't know if there's an analogy for like what we want out of sex in a book.
Do you watch foreplay a little bit? No? I'll watch a little foreplay on you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying as far as a book, I don't know. I don't want to hear about what I'm in for sex.
You don't watch just a video of finishing moves?
It's different, but it should be treated the same.
Compilation, maybe?
Sure, there's the compilation.
Usually is what they... Let's hear more.
I opened my shield enough to let him in.
Oh, yeah.
What? His voice floated into my mind.
Like, is she just
I
dripping
reached
over there the
down
whole
the
time she's
bond
reading
between
this?
us, caressing that wall of ebony adamant. A small sliver cracked, just for me. And I said into it, you are good, Reese. You are kind. This mask does not scare me. I see you beneath it.
Mysterious.
His hands tightened on me, and his eyes held mine as he leaned forward to brush his mouth against my cheek. It was answer enough, and an unleashing. I leaned a bit more against him, my legs widening ever so slightly.
Oh, my God!
Why'd you stop? I said into his mind, into him. A near-silent growl reverberated against me. He stroked my ribs again, in time to the beat of the music, his thumb rising nearly high enough to graze the underside of my breast.
Oh, and what is this guy?
I think he's a fairy, too.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's
got wings and stuff.
He's a hunky fairy. Last one.
His hand slid to my upper thigh,
Uh-oh.
fingers curving in. I ground against him, trying to shift those hands away from what he'd learn, to find him
You know,
hard
nasty puss.
against my backside.
Oh, I like that.
What was it? He
Every
was hard
thought-
against her backside?
To find him
Yeah, hell yeah.
hard against my backside.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Every thought eddied from my head. Only a thrill of power remained as I writhed along that impressive length.
Jeez.
My point on it being good for
Yeah.
her catching you with certain porn or whatever is like, because she'll catch you and be like, wait, you want to have sex with the babysitter? And you're like, wait, no, it's
fantasy.
It's all fantasy here. Like,
Right.
could you imagine if you were driving the babysitter home and she's like, hey, and you'd be like, oh my God, whoa, I don't know. This is, nuh-uh. Like, one of the most uncomfortable drives I've ever had was a 10-minute drive taking the babysitter home. Just me and some 16-year-old girl in the car. I'm
Yeah, I imagine Uber's probably taking care of that. Although I
But-
don't know how many people let their 16-year-old get in there. But you're right. And
But
then
I
you're-
drove a girl
if
home.
you were accused of that, then you're like, okay, are you trying to have sex with an animal?
Does
Yeah.
A fairy?
Does she know you bought the audiobook?
Oh, yeah. She was listening like this morning as I was like, whoo. She's like, oh, okay.
She wants you to release your inner fairy.
Yeah,
That's what she wants out of
maybe
you.
she wants, because then your lady might say, "Do you want me to dress up as a Girl Scout? I mean, is
As
this
your
where
stepmom?
we're going here?" Yeah. Does she want you to put on some wings? Maybe
on.
a crown.
I mean,
or-
I would, as long as, like, on the flip side of that, she'll dress up as, Sarah Palin or whatever.
Yeah,
Cameron Brink.
Yeah.
yeah, the WNBA outfit,
So, anyways, ACOTAR. It's apparently extremely popular.
which stands for
A Court of Thorn and Roses, and I do think we'll probably get a significant amount of feedback on this.
really.
Yeah, and it apparently had been picked up by Hulu, but after a couple years, the author of the books pulled it from Hulu. They didn't get anything done, and there's another shot at it in summer 2025. But there's 4 books, and they sold a lot, and they're very smut.
That's great. All right, let's do mail in a minute.
Hey, dim it down. Take Kip and Blake, now that makes a crowd. I love to listen every day now. If he could do it, I would take a bow. It's a dumb zone. Ladies, let's dance.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
The Amagi Bank,
That's right, Amity Bank.
College, man.
Take 2. Amity Bank College Baseball Series presented by Kubota. Go see some sports this weekend out of the Gilf. Kicking off the 2025 season with the Amity Bank Baseball College Baseball Series. That is this weekend, 21 through 23 of February. Arkansas, TCU, Michigan, Kansas State. They battle it out at the home of the Rangers. So, globelifefield.com/college baseball. That is globelifefield.com/college baseball for the Amity Bank College Baseball Series presented by Kubota. That's a solid thing to take your kids to. It's probably not very expensive. You get in, you're at a real ballpark. They don't know the difference, you know?
Kids.
You're the pop of the aluminum bat.
Yeah. Get up in that jet stream.
Go check it out.
No puppet, 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 no puppet.
By the way, the book is called Fourth Wing. Not Fourth Weekend. There's Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and then Onyx Storm is the book that was released last month where there was a line around the building at Talking Animals. Onyx Storm.
Man, it's just like when I learned about Okie noodling or something, you know? Like, there's just so much out there
Things are going on a lot more than you think they are.
that you have no idea about.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Thursday viewer mail follow-up extravaganza inclement fossil thing.
Oh yeah, wait a minute, Uncle Hotmail. Hey, Uncle Hotmail.
I told you, like, I don't know if we need to keep all mail just to Thursday. I don't know. I've been getting a lot of good mail lately. But this will be brought to us by Frankel and Frankel Personal Injury Attorneys, 214 or 817, then 333-333-333-333-333. Just keep dialing threes. Remember, personal injury attorneys. If you get in a wreck, think of Frankel and Frankel. Or give them a call. Don't just think of them. They can't communicate, like, apparently in this book. It seemed to be telepathic.
There's a little bit of telepathic.
She's like, just thought that this and then this happened.
Yep.
No, Frankel, you got to call him.
But past that, it's basically telepathy. They'll know what you need.
Yeah. So, a variety of viewer mails this Thursday. I start with one from a lady named Jordan, which is hot when it's a lady's name, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Greetings, cervix surveyor. I hope this finds you three well. I'd like to present to Jake the possible baby names my fiance and I have picked out. I picked the girl names, he picked the boy names. Their names are very telling on our mismatched personalities. We're both at an impasse on which two to select for our first child.
Let's go.
We will be getting to it, hell yeah, bruv, the day after our wedding. So we figured we'd start picking now. Please rate these on a scale from 1 to 10. We both have strong opinions on the names we selected. Okay. Boy names. Titus.
2.
Ragnar.
0.
Saban.
1.
Wow.
Dang.
Do you disagree?
No, but don't you want to give him like one okay grade?
Those are all terrible.
I don't think Saban's that bad.
I thought Saban's kind of the cooler one.
Saban's at least a 4.
I can't do Titus because of Titus and Taint.
Yeah.
Or what was that guy who had Christopher Titus? Fox gave him a show for a minute. Kind of had like a Biff energy to him, the comedian.
He's not Titus and Taint?
No.
That's a different?
No, Mark Titus.
Oh.
Mark Titus, I've tried to tell you this a million times, and you would not listen to me. Do you remember how TC, when he was an intern, had 2 shirts, and one of them said Club Trill?
Yeah.
Club Trill was for the trillionaires, because Mark Titus was a la, I don't know, Gabe. Mark Titus got really into like blogging and podcasting when he played for Ohio State. And he called him, like, his blog or his shows Club Trillionaire, because his stat line was always 1 minute and then 9 zeros. It's a good bit. Mark Titus is actually good. You don't remember Christopher Titus?
I feel like I know that name.
This guy.
Kind of. I don't know.
You don't recognize that comedian? Anyways, that's what I think of. Both those are bad. And with Saban, what are you going to do? You're going to look the coach every time? That's bad.
Girl names.
Let's try again.
Elizabeth.
That's like a 5.
Regina.
That's a 6.
Reveille.
That's a 0. Regina's a cool name.
Yeah, but guys are going to be calling her Regina.
That's true, too.
That's a good point.
P.S. from Jordan. I'm trying to have a Dumb Zone sponsor-heavy wedding. I already plan on using elite rides to take the wedding party to and fro.
Nice.
A pack of Lucy's will be lifted to all the groomsmen.
Terrific.
Can't go wrong. Get him the 8 Mickeys.
Our shared property is under Ownwell's protection.
Yes.
If only Frankel and Frankel did prenups. No, we do not partake in the weed. Any other plugs you can suggest would be Liddy. Nuck Fico, Go Stars, from Jordan.
Could have a little Lone Star at your wedding if you wanted.
Did you send her pic for the wall?
I don't think she did send a pic for the wall, but interesting that that's the thing that Blake is thinking about. Like, what? Does
I
Jordan-
mean, whoever. If we're going to start this wall, whatever. I also got an email from a Jordan who said that he's one of the select few that's played Words with Friends with Dan over the years. And he says that he will let Dan win depending on how he kind of thinks Dan's life is going. So like during the trial, he would let Dan win all the time. He said, "I would intentionally lose, especially during the hard times."
Oh, that's great.
What a guy.
That's very nice.
He also said, "Wendy's just on vacation. Get a grip, Dano."
Who's on vacation?
Wendy E.
Just the other day when you were talking about not seeing Wendy E for a couple days.
I don't know, man. I think she's old. She's an old
I
lady.
agree with you. Jordan has no info on Wendy's vitals. He just knows he let you win a few times because he's read the news.
Well, that's very nice. I appreciate that. I need that. I will take pity everything. By the way, if you're like, oh no, I don't want her to sleep with me because she's just feel sorry for. No, I do.
Yeah.
I want pity. I want pity sex. I want pity money. I don't have any shame.
Sure.
Yeah. If you're, yeah. Let's see. What's the sitch, Uncle Bitch Ditch? I love the Uncle Hotmail bit, but some of the nicknames are getting stale and repetitive. I've been keeping a list of names in my notes, but I never had a reason to write in.
Nice.
So I figured I'd go ahead and send them along to y'all in hopes of stimulating the Uncle Hotmail economy.
Writer's room.
For your review, Cream Pie Samurai.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This guy's cooking with gas.
Meat Acceptor Chief Inspector. Hot Pocket Hog Rocket. Stink Slit Wink Twit. The Luka of the Trout Bazooka. And, the Caitlin Clark of Cuttin's Shark. And the Bronny James of Slurpin' Dames. That is more Brunig from Sam Sturm. No relation to
Wait,
Bob.
did he actually never punt. Did he actually have an email?
No, the email was
Okay.
the fact that he's been saving these names, hoping that he would have an email to write
And he just
someday.
never got one.
He
Okay.
still has not thought of a reason to write us. And then he thought, wait, having all these names would be the reason to write us.
Derek weighs in regarding lobster that we talked about. As far as the pores in lobster. Used to be a pori food.
Oh, okay.
He said one thing that happened was like the pores developed a taste for them on the East Coast, but then a lot of the pores moved inland to America in the West. And they became more of a delicacy when they had to start being shipped. Because it would make sense that the migration to the West was, it's not like you're leaving your great life in the East to move West. You're out there hoping to hit it big. Build a life on the frontier. So lobsters having to be shipped is what made them like a delicacy. It was not because initially they were something that people were just like, this is great.
Okay. I thought it was tariffs made them cost more. That's a little comedy. That's a little
topical right there.
Political, economic humor. Dustin follows up when we were talking about roommates, like you don't want to have a roommate when you're 70 or 80. Oh, because the old guy that got killed or that killed his old roommate.
Yeah, 81-year-old killed his 59-year-old roommate here locally after he was being annoying.
He says, I happen to have, through work, some friends who are gay. And 4 of the guys, all late 30s, early 40s, lived in a house together for a few years. It seemed awesome because they were all best friends anyway. So they lived together, they'd split bills, rotate making dinner, etc., but they all still had their own private room to hide out in if they wanted. I believe they were all similarly clean, didn't F with each other's food, etc., and I don't think anyone was hooking up. But maybe they had before, so it's not off the table. That just seemed like an awesome idea if you were old and lived alone. Just move in with a few of your buddies. Keep costs low, watch stuff on the TV together, or play video games when you're bored. In a way, it makes me hope I would outlive my wife, but I probably won't.
I thought about this email a lot.
That's from Dustin Keller, our business lawyer. If you need a business lawyer,
hit him up.
May we suggest Dustin Keller?
I thought a lot about this. It's a very interesting idea, and I think this is good for society and for us to move culturally towards this direction. We've talked about having a separate bedroom than your wife, even a separate residence. But what I think you need is, it's tougher if your wife is still alive. But if we just normalize the idea that when you're 60, 65, let's say 65, you just move in with your bros. You're still married, and maybe you still keep that house. I don't know, but an old folks' home, but it's basically your homies. And what would help is if we like made a TV show about this, with like Tim Allen and John Goodman or something.
So get a lot of older actors who we were really into.
Yeah, and to have them just hanging out.
Kevin James lives with Ray Romano.
Yeah. And just normalize it and just be like, this is because what you have to do, you have to have it accepted by the mental health people.
Is that what The Odd Couple was?
Like Walter Matthau?
But I mean, was that just two old guys that kind of lived together?
That's the way I remember it, but I also remember them hating each other, right? I'm saying that the guys I went on this ski trip with this last weekend, in 3 decades, we just
you could
get
live
a
with
house
them?
together. Yeah, for sure.
And I wonder if it's like a guy's weekend where you will just develop your roles as well, like we have here.
Definitely.
Like I do the dishes, like at the guys' weekend when I was hanging out with you guys, I did the dishes. I'll do the dishes here at home. I make the fire.
Yeah.
She bitches and complains about everything and accuses me of different things.
But you wouldn't have big fights, so like, hey, we're getting food out tonight. It would be easy.
Oh, yeah.
You could take trips.
And if you just wanted to get food and you didn't ask anyone and you just did it on your own,
also fine.
Nobody'd be mad.
But you won't be lonely. What do they say about like Alzheimer's and how people deteriorate in old age? It's not being stimulated. It's being alone. If you could just hang out with your fellas when you're old, I think this would be way better for society. Way better. You get a stripper every now and then. Sounds kick-ass.
This is from Marcus, who says, Blake.
Yes, Marcus.
No one needs an episode for every segment. That's why you have in-episode markers. Please stop.
Don't need an episode for every segment.
So I guess this is regarding Substack. You will cut up things into different segments.
It says here, DumbZone, a website for subscribers, not only Marcus. Got it. Okay. So I'll keep doing stuff that I need to do for the subscribers and potential subscribers, and Marcus can kiss my ass. How about that?
Oh, wow. I got another one that indicated we don't need so many emails.
Yeah, I know. We're training new interns, and we had a miscommunication, so I'm hoping it only happens once, but would love a little levity here, fellas.
That's a wild thing to me, and I know they're just busting balls. But that is a wild thing to me to fire off an email about.
Being upset getting too many emails?
Yeah, I mean, you get 60 of them, you just delete all of them every day from whether it's from a shirt company or from a podcast. It never ever would occur to me to be like, someone needs to know about my displeasure here.
Dude, we should do this experiment. Like from midnight to midnight or whatever, any 24-hour period. Maybe starting now, delete all your email in your regular email inbox and then go back in 24 hours and how many do you have? Because I spend half my day just kind of looking at the junk mail and just making sure there's nothing in there I need, and then I delete it. Like, do you get a ton of just... Of course you do.
Yeah,
you sign up for everything.
So I have two things, really a three-pronged approach. The one is just easy, just whack-a-mole, just delete them. Another thing I'll do is I created a coupons and deals folder and tag in my Gmail, so when I get something that I'm like, you know what, I might actually do that, I forward it or I move it over to the coupons and deals, and anytime I'm going to buy something, I go in there and search like shirt.
Deal man is nodding.
Yeah, because sometimes
Genius.
it is pizza. I'll save all the pizza ones in there, and I'll just search pizza and see like what's most recent.
Like the codes,
deals, offers, whatever.
And then if all of a sudden she's like, I got book club tonight, you go
Let's
to Papa.
go. Yeah. So I do that, and then the other one is just when I'm up for it is a little bit of an unsub binge.
I do that every day.
It's pretty satisfying at first, but then you realize you can never
No, because they keep changing.
Yeah.
You can't stay ahead of them.
You unsubscribe at the bottom of the email? I always thought if you did that, you're showing them how I went through this whole email and I will take action and I will press a button and they'll send you even more.
I think there's a law, though.
My process is I go to the bottom, unsubscribe that way. Apple has a thing where it'll unsubscribe for you, which is send them an email, which I don't think works. But then I will block the incoming email address and also block the reply to email address.
Wow.
And I still get them. I still get
Yeah.
Trump and Russian jets seen over Ukraine every day. Can't escape it.
Did I ever tell you guys? Did we ever read the email from the cop about the flock cameras? We did, right?
That sounds familiar.
We had a guy. There was a story about a guy who got arrested. He was an inmate, an escapee at Buc-ee's, and he got popped by these flock cameras. And a listener explained to us, we have a very communicative cop listener, and he emailed us about Blake and his bandit situation the other day. A cop for 20 years. He said, firstly, it matters where you are. If you're on the highway in a busy city like Dallas, you generally don't have to worry about city cops pulling you over unless you're doing something very wild-ass. They're too busy handling calls for service to mess with you on traffic enforcements. A lot of departments, this I did not know, give specialized officers like SWAT take-home cars. So if you're in Rockwall and you're next to a Euless cop car, you have nothing to worry about. They are going from point A to point B. Because I will see that, and in my head when I was growing up, I was like, you're out of jurisdiction.
Yeah, jurisdiction.
We're the same out here in, Hood County. I don't have to respect your Plano squad car. Apparently that's true. Good rule of thumb, 9 over. Most cops use 10 as their threshold for making a stop. Troopers are a different story. Their job is to patrol the highway. If you pass a trooper and they're doing the speed limit, you're probably going to get pulled over. You're probably going to get a ticket. They take that personally. So if you're doing 5 over and pass a trooper, get ready to have your day ruined.
Which is what my bandit guy did. He got pulled over immediately.
He says he has some tips here. Follow a good ways behind the bandit, a quarter mile if you can swing it. His leaders are Blake's Avril Lavigne sex tape Crocs. Were you wearing Crocs? Did we talk?
No, we had just explained that Crocs might be good for that kind of thing because
when you're standing
easily
there,
wipeable. But I did fall for an Avril Lavigne torrent for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one of his leaders. The other one is Jody Dean bombing Sarajevo and Jake watching pornos where guys have their shirts on. Shout out to.
Are we ready? Can I read my Mavs ones?
That's a good email.
I got a couple Mavs ones.
I just have 2 submissions for different lists. The first, Matt Grimm says for an anchored phrase, Beck.
Beck and Cole.
Yeah. When else are you hearing Beck?
Dude, Matt Grimm sent us a video somebody did of if you drop an ant off of a house, does it survive?
We need to report back on that.
And it does. Well, yeah, I should do that in Gummy Thoughts. But.
And Eric asks if Kim Mulkey is a potential Roseanne.
Yes. Yeah, she might be one of our first pretty fit Roseannes or potential Roseannes. Had a tough conversation the other day with a family member who at one point I may or may not have lived inside of.
Oh, no.
Who very seriously approached me with a full heart and said, am I a Roseanne?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. That's the end of that story.
Oh, no.
I said no. But I think what I was heard, it was not yet.
Potential.
If you watch the kids a little more.
It does wear on people.
Can I do my Mavs ones?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm good.
Everybody's feeling great.
Yeah, this guy says, Dearest front-bottom fondlers, thanks for your coverage of the Luka debacle, blah, blah, blah. I'm also working out how to move on like you guys. It occurred to me just recently the surging popularity of last year's League of the Year has come at an opportune time. I know I don't need to tell you wingheads that our girls have the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft. It is April 14th. Less than a week after we give Luka a proper goodbye, we get to welcome Paige Buchers.
I did know Paige Buchers was coming.
Yeah.
Now, who is that?
UConn?
Oh, my gosh.
Is she great?
Yeah, it was.
She just broke one of the 2 people I referenced earlier as the only 2, Subert or Dan Trossi. She just broke a record.
She was one of those high school kids that you saw on Instagram and Twitter just destroying people as a sophomore. And you've seen her rise come in. Now she's at UConn. Yeah, she's great. She's a white with swag.
Here's what I'm confused by is, so does the draft happen while the season's still happening?
They have 2 seasons a year.
They have to have 3 draft seasons.
There's always a draft.
Yeah.
2 seasons and 2 drafts a year. That makes sense.
By the way, I like the brainstorming sesh here, but I think we should be called Wing Nuts.
Okay. That's better than Wingheads, for
Yeah.
sure. Looking forward to the Wings content from the podcast that brought us, quote, I can maybe name all the WNBA coaches if I say them in an alphabetical order in my head.
You jerk.
Never punt from Robert. And, hey, fellows at the Dumb Zone, my name is Brian. I'm a fellow Dallas sports fan reaching out. I want to share how my buddy and I are processing the Luka trade using humor instead of anger. We are pitching Nico Harrison urinal cakes to bars, restaurants, and other establishments across DFW to allow Mavs fans to express their true feelings about the trade in the most satisfying way possible. So he is selling, I have a picture of this, that is urinal cakes with Nico's face on it. Ladies, a urinal cake is something that they put in the stand-up urinals, and I guess it is to make it not smell terrible.
Yeah.
But it's something that, so it's a little, it looks like a hockey puck, and it is made of some kind of a thing that has a good smell, and over time it will just wear away, and you end up kind of peeing on it. And like maybe even when it's breaking down a little bit, you'll
move it around.
You'll chip across a little,
I like that.
chip it down a little bit.
Like you're edging.
Anyway, this is from Brian, and joining us now.
Oh, no.
Why did you think I asked you twice if we're ready for the Mavs emails?
Oh, I thought.
Well, how was I telegraphing this? Didn't you think it was weird I was doing that?
Well, I would have thought it was weird if I didn't know exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
In which case, I was like, yeah, so you must already have the guy lined up.
Yeah, it's
there's
like
a Mavs one before the second Mavs one. On the way we had talked about it was I'll
That's
do
what you
one
meant
before
by
the
that.
phone call.
And I said,
so once you
can
said,
I read my
do the
Mavs
one?"
emails?
And then you did that one. I knew the next one was going to be the
Okay.
urinal cake one.
Yeah, I was just blowing through stop signs.
And yeah, then I even told Clay, like, hey, put up the picture because now you know for sure
This
it's
probably
the
calls
urinal
for a
cake
vape.
guy. I want to get that vape clean on microphone because people like hearing the vape.
I don't do it whenever we're in segment.
I don't know. I've just heard from people who their leader is Jake's vape hit.
IJB maybe streaming, but I don't. Anyways, is Cake Guy there?
Yeah, he's here.
I thought he would get to hear me read the email and just be able
Brian,
to set up. And,
I'm sorry you missed the setup.
Joining us now is Brian.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
What's up, bro?
So, what's your bit, Brian?
Well, I guess now that I'm officially known as the urinal cake guy, I'm basically just a Mavs fan that is, pissed about the Luka trade, and since the organization is doing everything in their power to silence our displeasure with the trade, I figured this would be a good way to hopefully voice our displeasure in a way that is, how do I say it, pleasing. So what I've done is I've ordered a bunch of these urinal cakes, and I'm trying to pitch it to local businesses, bars, restaurants, etc., in the hopes that maybe one of them is a huge Mavs fan, sees the humor in it, and orders a couple. I'm not out here trying to make any money. So
have you even sold any?
So not yet.
Oh,
Still
okay.
looking for that elusive first customer, but we've had some interest, some back and forth with some owners. So hoping that one of them will bite.
Okay, I'd like to get one if we could. I don't know. Can you? You can't just put them in the toilet though. We don't have a urinal here.
You guys don't have a urinal?
Oh, we have a urinal at Fox 4.
We do.
We'll take one there.
I'm sure they'd let us. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can hook up with you next week.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll
guys
meet you
have my
downtown.
contact info, so.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you could get on Shark Tank, although Cubes isn't on there anymore.
That's true. Wait, well, you know what? We'll put the your form, your link, in our show notes today, and see if anybody bites on that. But Brian here had the idea of it's got Nico Harrison's face.
You need it at your company,
so
your place of employment, or you could just put them in random places.
Have you
across
ever?
The Metroplex.
Okay,
that's not a bad idea.
We had just
I have
drop
some further ideas about that, but
go ahead.
I don't know. Well, I know that Jake may or may not be organizing something for a future Mavs game, but if you were to do something, and these products don't sell, then maybe they could be used for something like that.
Well, take him into the arena and put him in the urinals there.
Tape it to your leg.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's basically the idea. Like, I think it'd be great to go into like the 300 section and where I guess the true fans are, and during halftime or intermission, just everybody obviously goes to the bathrooms. You've been to a Mavs game before, and just seeing that, I can just imagine that blowing up. So,
got to be careful when you're taking the picture of it.
Now, I don't want to. I don't want to tape it to my leg. I think they might find that. Can I just shove it up my bottom? I would rather do that. You know what? Let me just test it now.
Yeah.
Let's just see.
On the stream.
So in college, our bit was, like, do you ever play with urinal cakes?
I have not.
Okay, so now urinal cakes are the most disgusting thing ever, right? They've been peed on by hundreds of dudes. So we would get a paper towel. It's a little cold, living up there in Ohio. Get a paper towel, take a urinal cake, come back from the bathroom, and slide it in your buddy's coat pocket.
Oh.
And, like, it might be like 4 days. It might be later that night. But he'd pull this thing out. He'd be holding it in his bare hand. And he'd go, what is it? Oh, my God! And then he'd throw it on the ground and run to the bathroom to wash his hand. And it's a real fun game.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So just seeing your urinal cake bit brought joy to my heart, just like Luka used to, Brian.
Yeah. I didn't do that when I went to college, but, it sounds hilarious. So,
yeah, it's a good – try it now. Try it in your 30s. Try it in your 40s.
Sure.
Hey, all right,
sorry about Blake, Brian. Thanks, man.
Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, we had a real big setup for you and everything. Expected to have you on the phone, and then Blake's like, "Oh, I forgot you were doing it."
Today and Brian.
Yeah, we had a whole thing set up for you, man. But anyway, good bit. Thanks for joining us. And go. I was going to say go Mavs. Go. I don't want to say go Luka. Right. I just want Luka to be happy in the end.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, dude.
All right, thanks for having me, fellas.
There's
Bye.
Brian. We'll put the link in the show notes.
Can I do my one Mavs email?
You could do 1,000 Mavs
This
emails.
comes to us. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this comes to us from Adam. Adam actually once participated in the Bad Radio Show 4000 trivia, which was going great. And we had some great questions and great listeners until TC and I made the final question, what was the name of Bill Walton's friend who used to run a super salad? And then we realized that only the two of us remembered that.
So you were in on that?
Yeah, I wrote the game.
Okay, I didn't know.
And it was going great. TC and I were like, this is awesome. Everybody's getting these deep cuts.
Wait.
It's a good friend of mine. He wrote more than most.
Give me a hint.
Both his first and last names start with the same letter, and it's a T.
Tim Taft.
Timmy Taft. But Adam was part of that. He's a very, very smart dude. He writes very smart emails. He's kind of got a little bit of a different take on how to get at the Adelsons, where he lays out where all their money comes from, most of which is from casinos in Macau. Speaking of TC, those casino licenses exist by the grace of the Chinese government and could be pulled at any time. So anything that ruffles the feathers of the Chinese Xi government, they would like to avoid. So he's proposing we need to convince as many MFFLs as possible to avoid the team's BS of we don't accept disparaging comments. Start showing up to Mavs games with the Independent Republic of Taiwan flag as our form of protest. This other one here is just a free Tibet flag.
That's some deep stuff
that you can buy. Do you remember when Daryl Morey got in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
And if you wore like a Hong Kong flag or something to an NBA game, they would kick you out.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah,
that's incredible.
That was a big thing back then. So he's proposing things like posters that say Miriam hates Luka and loves a free Tibet. This will set off a political firestorm when they have to start defending China to their MAGA brethren. Let's find out how much they really want to be in the spotlight and own an NBA team. I just don't know that we're ever going to have like, Tim Kalishaw asking Jason Kidd about like Tibet or Uyghur rights, even if the signs show up in the games. I don't think so. It's probably not happening.
I have two more.
But it is a nice reminder of who we're run by. Goes deep. Very deep.
Well, it's kind of, to me, it's like we don't really care what they do. We do, but we don't. Like
I had accepted it.
Remember the Chick-fil-A guy who owns Chick-fil-A? A lot of people are against him, and he's real anti-gay and all this stuff. But
sandwich.
And my daughter is the biggest activist. Well, not the biggest, but, much more of an activist than most kids, I think, her age. And she wants to protest gun violence. She'll walk out of school, all that kind of stuff. And very pro-LGBT, all the things that you don't even know what they are, the question mark. She's into that. But she'll eat Chick-fil-A. She's like, look, it's just too good.
Yeah.
It's great. And that's the thing about Luka and the Mavs. And like,
look, I get sad.
I don't really care what they do.
Sad
I do,
when
but
I see, the images from the Gaza Strip. But then I hear like the Mike Breen double bang on a Luka 3, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well.
Plus, I want to go to that new resort.
No, that's going to be great.
Two quickies. This one, regarding the Super Bowl MVP, from Ashley, who writes, in my opinion, it should have been Saquon or Cooper DeJean. If you add their jersey numbers, 26 plus 33, you get Super Bowl 59. Then she says, I would love to hear your thoughts on Jameis Winston. He was all over Twitter with his broadcast for Fox, and I have wanted to talk about Jameis for a while, only because I find this a fascinating transformation in the past few years. He kind of went from really underperforming, overhyped, I don't know, he almost went from a bust to like he's like the darling of the NFL these days. He's the clown prince of football.
Yeah.
He's real, like,
so the only way you can become
TV
that
networks are going to fall all over themselves to get themselves a little Jameis
doubt.
after his retirement.
You can only become that once you have no expectations. You can only become like the fun bit guy whenever a franchise is not tying their hopes to you. Because if you are, then people will be like, what are you doing? We'll throw a football through a tire. But if nobody really expects you to turn the franchise around, then you could be out in New Orleans for a week doing all the bits you want.
Because now
it's free and easy.
Does the EW, like the Browns fans loved him. He wasn't Deshaun Watson too, so that helped.
I'm going to give you a couple of gummy thoughts, which are, of course,
I forgot about gummy thoughts.
Early Bird CBD.
Yeah.
Earlybirdcbd.com. The promo code, Blake, is DumbZone. You'll get 20% off. DumbZone. These have got
thoughts, yeah.
These have got 2.5 miggies of natural THC in each gummy. So start with one, but maybe two. Who knows?
We're going miggy.
And do not take Early Bird if you are looking to pass a drug test. This is not what these are for. It's real THC. Great customer service. They're based right there in Austin. I don't know if this matters, but they taste good.
They do taste good.
Just remember, one at a time. Perfect for before a night out. Maybe you just want to chill out. Early Bird has got you covered. These are great. Go check them out. Earlybirdcbd.com. The promo code's DumbZone. You'll get 20% off. And then you can send us your gummy thoughts. I got a couple quick ones for you here.
Go ahead.
I've kind of intimated this before, but I really wish that there was a way, and maybe this will show up at Blake's CES 26 or something. You know how you can do like an in-body test, and it'll give you like your bone density and your body fat and all that stuff.
Yeah, they had that.
You can hold. There's one for at home now.
No, I had one. It's a spit test and it can tell you how stressed you are.
That's crazy. But that's kind of what I'm about to talk about. I believe that there has to be a way, even though everyone experiences pain and sensation differently, I believe there has to be a way in my lifetime where you can just touch something, hold something, they put something on you, and it actually spits out like what level of pain are you in. Because I get so annoyed when people say, oh, I got a high pain tolerance. How do you know? You have no idea how this feels to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something people... And then TC and I were talking about this the other day with like your therapist or your counselor, but it applies to any doctor when they're like, look at this thing right here and show me where your pain is. Are you half smiling pain?
Yeah, the 1 to 5 or 1 to 10.
It's insane.
I think I've recently seen a comedian do a bit on this too, that if you're at the doctor and you tell them only, your pain's a 5, they're not going to give you the medicine you want.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of lie, but you have to walk that line too.
Yeah. It's the same thing with filling out forms at the HAB. Like you learn, people will be like, oh, don't put that. Like if you want to go home, don't put that.
Yeah. Your
insurance will pay for this if they see this, but they won't if they see this. But my thing is like right now, I think I have a slight groin strain. And it hurts. But in my head, I'm like, I bet people just
doesn't hurt enough.
Work out through this. But how much does this actually hurt? I want to be able to just grab a thing with both hands, put my palms on it, and it'd be like, your groin is a 32% pain. Yeah, something like that.
That'd be good.
I want that. And I think we're going to have that. Like a full quantified thing where you're like, hey, my foot, that's like maybe we take the day off on the foot. That's a 40% today.
I do wonder if we'll ever have the
next-gen stats for your whole body is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but can you walk through like the Mavs metal detector or whatever place metal detector? Or maybe it's the airport one where you have to put your hands up and the thing goes around.
Throw up the rock, yeah.
That one, and you just walk in and they do that thing and you walk out and they could tell if you have any cancer or if you had something is your kidney is something. And
that's some of that technology still early on, but if you have the money, they have stuff like that. Like they have body scans. It's varying levels of veracity or accuracy, but you can get that stuff scanned. Your lungs, they can take a look at like.
But I want it all in 5 seconds. The whole body, not. Just a lung one.
I agree on the technology. Feel like there's a better way or time to deliver that information than 40 minutes before your connecting flight to Minneapolis.
Well, no. I say it's like
but you've got cancer.
If you could,
I hope you make your flight.
Enjoy your vacation.
Here's a voucher for a Cinnabon.
Yeah, if you could make it both at the same thing. And then you don't. Here's how
the terminal's just full of people weeping.
We're saving jobs, their families. Though. So we don't have to hire unqualified people to be TSA checkers anymore. You just have, doctors and nurses there.
That's so funny. Just a guy blackout at TGI Fridays in the afternoon, missing his flight because he just found out he has stage 4 prostate cancer.
Or, since you're taking this to that level, then what if we do it when you walk into a Mavs game?
Oh, yeah. Even better. Even better. You're like, well, I'm already here. Yes, I have leukemia.
You might end up getting to meet Luka or something. Or, a player that
you get fast passed to the adult Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
All right, for everyone who found out that they have cervical cancer, the 200s, 212 in particular, if you've got cancer at 212, you will get a signed Dorian Finney-Smith basketball. My other quick gummy thought is that basically people only dress the way they dress to indicate who they want to fuck. Like at the root of all, clothing decisions, historically, you, Luka.
I want to have sex with
But
Luka.
the only reason, dresses exist is think about like the Pioneer day. They had to be able to be like, hey, you could lift this up and just take me.
Mm-hmm.
You think?
Yeah. Definitely. There's no real
utility for wearing a dress. Yeah.
Or if one versus the other, you would have both be one. But so if pants are going to be one, the dress. I just think you only dress a certain way to say like, hey, I am this and I like that.
Yeah, and it makes sense because at some point guys stop wanting that, and so they stop caring.
See?
Interesting.
When you're 20, you want to seem like you're put together. But when you stop, your libido starts to slip. You start wearing blue with black and just stuff you're not supposed to do.
Why are you looking at me?
No, I'm saying, like, this doesn't match.
Oh, you...
And remember, like, 10, 15 years ago, I had to match everything of mine. And so, but now I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I'll wear this dark blue with black shoes. I don't care.
Because you got married.
Yeah.
You already have legal sex now. She's legally obligated to.
Obligated. That's right.
So the promo code is dumbzone at earlybirdcbd.com, and you'll get 20% off.
Okay.
Send them to thedumbzone@gmail.com.
My final email for the mailbag was, hey, boys, I'm running the Cowtown Marathon Sunday.
Crawl it.
Is it cool if I put my company name as your YouTube channel for the directory? So in his company, he put our YouTube.
That's awesome.
I'm also making a Dumbzone running bib. This is from James Crowley.
You need to take him up on the Cybertruck offer.
Maybe we'll do that next week. He said he could get that down in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
He has a Cybertruck, and he was going to let us go take a spin in it. Want to do that and do some videoing?
Yeah.
Live streaming?
Yeah.
I will not get in it.
You won't get in a Cybertruck?
Absolutely not.
Will you video us?
I don't support that Roman saluter.
Oh. All right. Well, let's do the news.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
Does this have a sponsor? Oh, yeah. Fairlease.
Fairlease. Check them out. Fairlease.org. Fairlease.org. That is where I would like you to lease your next vehicle. Fairlease Navidad. Go say hey to Danny. Go say hey to Matthew at Fairlease.org. Report back on your experiences. A little bit of sports news. This was all over everywhere yesterday. You recall we had a string of athlete burglaries in Q4 of last year.
Yeah, I was really into that.
Well,
recently I've been reading a lot about it. Maybe about a month ago I was reading a lot about it.
Which I secretly thought of why the Mavs might have traded Luka. What did they find in his house?
Well, Luka.
The reason you're thinking of conspiracy theories is because just nothing else makes sense.
Yeah, you just have to accept the Occam's razor.
Just they didn't shop him around, so when
You
it
know
comes
why
out
they
in a
didn't
couple
shop
of
him
years,
around? They didn't
that
shop him around because they only wanted Anthony Davis and they didn't want him to get out.
Well, what if they found something in his house?
Then it would already be out there because then you would be not losing and dude. If the guy was a pedophile, you say that the next day so that you don't lose 3,000 Mavs TV subscriptions. You gain some for being like, hey, we won't stand for this. Can't. What organization would just take it in the shorts like that to keep something like that quiet? No.
Oh, because then you get Anthony Davis out of it, rather than just like, oh, Luka needs some time away from the team.
What is he going to start at the 4 or the 5 tonight?
He's injured.
Oh.
But he's got a funny TV show coming up.
Oh, God. So Luka and Tyler Sagan were both robbed late last year, but they are not currently. It's unknown whether or not this story that's currently out there about these arrests is related to them. These arrests are related specifically to, if you recall, there was Patrick Mahomes, there was Travis Kelce, there was Joe Burrow, there was Bobby Portis.
Which one is not like the others?
True, but NBA players make a lot of money.
I know, but
like I bet Bobby Portis makes significantly more than Travis Kelce does or has.
Bobby Portis' career, $65 million.
I bet
that's right where
I bet
Kelce
Kelce's under 100. And Bobby Portis is 29.
Career 94 for Kelce.
By the end of it, Bobby Portis is probably not that far away from Travis Kelce.
But yeah, spare NBA player
can make 12, 13
spare
million.
baseball player, same thing.
If you're not a pass rusher, wide receiver, or quarterback, you can probably be got by a Bobby Portis. And at least in the case of those Kansas City Chiefs players, Portis in Milwaukee and Burrow in Cincinnati, or at least the first three. The Kansas City ones and the Milwaukee one, they were during home games for those players. So, kind of like how you used to hear I feel like my dad, my stepmom, when they first found out about Facebook, were all over this. We're not going to post when we're on vacation.
My wife's big about that.
Yeah.
Well, she's not a big poster anyway, but yeah.
But if you're an old, a lot of people will when it's vacation. You're like, oh, look, Dolphins. And then people are like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it's obvious. You have a home game. You're not going to be there. They know when you leave. But in Burrow's case, he was actually in Dallas when his home in Cincinnati was robbed. And he, along with Mahomes and Kelsey, had hired like round-the-clock home security teams. And this group, this gang of Chilean nationals, fellas from Chile who had been hanging out in America, they had observed from like the woods the patterns of the home security team, when shift change was, and where their vulnerability spots were. Because in the case of Mahomes' house, and Portis' actually, it says they gained entry without breaking any doors or windows. They just figured out exactly where the panel was that they could unscrew it from the wall, walked right in while the security team was there in the driveway.
Wow.
And stole anywhere from $1 million to $2 million from each one of these guys. It was also a player, unnamed Bucks player, Tampa Bay, and an unnamed
Baker
Grizzlies player.
It's really brilliant.
Yeah.
Because
all
that
that
was
part of it brilliant.
My thought was, yeah, if you make $30 million a year or $50 or whatever these quarterbacks make, can't you afford the best security? And apparently they had the best security. Yet these guys still went after them.
Yeah.
Like a challenge.
Like a challenge. And like I said, yeah, just watching from the woods, monitoring the pattern of security guards, breaking into the homes by breaking small windows or prying open sliding doors, watches, bags, chains, cash, and an abortion. Side note, we're going to do a commentary on media. This ESPN.com article, one of the few I read on this, uses this term, which feels a bit archaic. Their booty had an estimated value of about $3 million.
That's a pirate's booty.
So, yes, as Dan said, very smart. They're tracking movements. They take it as a challenge. They pulled it off. Not as smart. Uploading all of their selfies of them posing with all of their booty to an iCloud account so they could share it with their other gangster friends and show them. And in one of them, I think while they're at Bobby Portis' house, one of them's like wearing a Mahomes jersey, which is funny.
Yeah.
Like he had clearly just boosted that and kept it with him.
But why did the iCloud account, why is that a bad idea?
Well, because
the cops can't get in there.
With a warrant, they did.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they suspected these guys. Now have a warrant for their...
I think they suspected these guys, but also they got pulled over. What they were doing were renting cars. And at one point they got pulled over in a rental, and the body cam footage is actually out there. They were, was it speeding? But they got pulled over. They said they don't really speak English. One of them was wearing a Bengals stocking cap. You can see in the video when they got pulled over. They took everything, and they just kept wearing it. Officer asked them in Spanish where they were headed. This was in Ohio, and they said Orlando. We're headed to Orlando, and the cop was like, wrong direction. Person in the back seat then changed his destination to New York, then to Florida. They search the car. They find the tools, crowbar, window punches.
For how methodical they were to make sure they could get that crime done, it's a Luigi Mangione thing, right? Like, you didn't have this part of it?
Yeah. At least in his case, you'd be like, did he want to get caught? With these guys, no. But the selfies are hilarious. I mean, it's just, they look like cops after a drug bust. You know, they have it all laid out neatly on a table, except they also are wearing some of the chains in a Chiefs jersey, like throwing up the hang loose. So, yeah, 7 people have been charged in this burglary sting. I don't know, maybe subconsciously this is why I live so light. because you're not getting shit off me. There's nothing. Dude, I was telling my wife this morning, I'm proposing that we spend 1 hour a month just throwing stuff away. Like, I do it kind of on my own. I don't know that my family knows this, but if I find a random toy and I'm like, I haven't seen that in about a month until last night, I throw it away immediately.
Wow.
I donate shirts and stuff every couple months. You know, I just feel like I need to, it's like, you know, like heat. Walk away in 30 seconds flat. And you feel the heat. By the way, also.
Do you have a go bag?
Not that far off, dude. I guess my gym bag, of course, it's got cleats in it in case I need those. I don't know if I came up with something genius here or if this is just the most obvious thing ever and I'm now adopting it. When my wife was out of town recently, I made it a point to launder and fold every article of clothing in the house, other than what the kids and I had on at that moment. So everything is going to get clean.
So everything that was hanging in the closet?
No, but like they have 4 or 5 loads of laundry. I've got some. I wanted when she got back, everything is done.
Okay.
And big part of the reason for this was I'm driven insane by unmatched socks. And my kids are 2 different sizes of socks, but they both have plain white ones. They both have plain, and they just look too similar. It's too much bullshit. So what I've done is I've matched all the socks they have. I will probably eventually be throwing those out. But those that don't have a match, I threw every one of those socks away. And this morning I ordered each of them like 15 pair of socks that are basically all one for the girl and all one for the boy.
So you can now tell.
And they don't
quickly?
they look very different.
Yeah.
And there's, you know,
That's something you don't think about
they're
until
a
you're...
dollar a pair.
Yeah, no, you don't think about it till you're in the weeds.
Yeah, but I'm sitting there spending time like, I wonder, can I find, maybe this sock is in the other load, and finally it's like, ridiculous. I'll buy them new socks every 3 months, if that's what it takes to never be like, oh, God, half their socks don't match. Anyways, just a tip for those at home.
I think it's important to do an occasional
inventory.
Buy all new socks.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's
like
Christmas.
Every couple years, you could do it every year? You're saying? Like, all new, whatever.
I might get a new 8-pack of socks for the year. Maybe a 10-pack.
Okay, I have to get I have to have enough that I can rotate or go a couple weeks without doing laundry.
I do laundry almost every day.
If I need to.
I like to do a load every day.
I do a load every week for sure, but might be every few days.
Don't know if we need an open for this. I feel like we do. We've mentioned this once before, and we're going to keep track of it. I've told you guys about
this. This will end in a second. Too long.
I've told you guys about the asteroid.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the mansion-sized asteroid?
We're up to 3.1% for 2032. This is the highest risk assessment NASA has ever provided for an asteroid, surpassing 2.7 in 2004. So we're only going up, really hot in the polls right now. Kind
Remember
of started
this.
out unranked, and now
that's a higher percentage than you would have given the Mavs trading Luka.
By about
3
times 1,000.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
3%? I mean, I've won bets that had less than a 3% chance of winning. We all have.
It was probably bad of me to flee the area for the eclipse a couple years, a year ago. Why don't you tell me where this asteroid's supposed to hit, and I'll go there in 2032? Because this is not happening.
Okay, well, while I appreciate your bravery, I'm pretty sure if an asteroid... Have you heard about, like, the fucking Ice Age? Where I don't know that it's a localized event.
That's
where
all
you're
just a theory.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, don't that for strength.
Just give me East Coast, Asia, wherever it's supposed to hit, and make a mansion-sized hole in the earth. I'll stand there for the show. I'll stream it.
I love the bit, and I will go with you.
No, now he's getting on my bed.
But I'm just telling you, it's not going to matter where we are. The entire Earth will be gone, or it will at least be uninhabitable.
It'll be like
Like, explain, how does an asteroid hitting the Earth kill all the dinosaurs? That's why I'm not sure if there were dinosaurs. I think those fossils were planted.
I mean, I think what happened is, first of all, it created a huge, crater in the Earth, right? So there's a this is the end level, just fall into the Earth. But I think the biggest thing is that it creates like shock waves and changes in, there's hurricanes, there's tsunamis, exactly, earthquakes everywhere, and everything just dies.
Oh, they're calling it a risk corridor. That's cool.
That feels very Pete Delkus.
I'll head to the corridor.
Where is it?
Eastern Pacific Ocean. They don't really
a little travel in.
Yeah, I'll fly for this.
What if it lands in the ocean?
Then we're fine.
Well, no. Would the ripple effect?
Of course it would. What I'm telling you is that we're all going to die if this happens.
No, we're not.
Is your position that it's not going to happen, or is it when it does happen, it'll basically be like an Amber Alert that you can just look out your blind and raise?
They're saying it's like a city-killing asteroid. It's not going to destroy us.
Okay, maybe I had it wrong then.
You've watched too much Armageddon.
Can that be a thing that happens?
No.
Can you watch too much of that? It's like a documentary.
I'll work on getting us a show bunker.
Show bunker?
Yeah, show bunker.
Whoa, why can you not say the word bunker?
I don't know, my mouth just
Yeah, what's wrong with your
stopped
tongue,
working.
bro?
I think he's got too many Lucy's in.
Oh, yeah.
Bunker. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, you're right. This one does say city killing. But 1 in 32 is not low. Not at all. And then let's go over to the adult content world.
Okay.
The big news yesterday, maybe late Tuesday, was that one of the warring whores from the OnlyFans world, Bonnie Blue, she's the woman who said she had sex with 1,000 men in 12 hours and was kind of a champ about it. Like, didn't seem like it was a big deal, didn't seem
like the
bummed
lady
out.
that had 100 was all crying about it.
100 and something in
Lily
24
Phillips,
hours.
her
Lily
rival,
Phillips.
seemed pretty traumatized.
Yeah.
They filmed the documentary about it. Blake watched it. We reviewed it. She was like, sometimes it's a bit more calm than I thought it would be.
My eyes are burning.
And she was kind of crying.
Long day? No, they're coming it.
But Bonnie Blue was more, she's the one that would go to college campuses and rush weeks and spring breaks all over the world. And she would just offer up like, hey, you can have sex with me for free. I'm going to film it, though. And it's made her millions and millions and millions.
I'm going to do
this
this year to sororities. I'm going to show up.
Hell yeah.
Be like, hey, put out an ad.
It's
Dan's
free. I know you're
Dan's in
surprised by
town.
this, but it's free.
Yeah.
But I'm going to need to film it.
Just see where it gets me.
I want you exactly like that. The Adidas track pants, the Lone Star beanie, and the Luka Lakers all black. Hey.
I'll go to, let's go up to Oklahoma State. Let's see how things are going up there.
So here's the story. Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips have been warring, which is interesting because I've heard that they filmed scenes together with 10 other dudes. They're both, I believe, from England, London. So a couple days ago, Bonnie Blue posted on, I think it was on Instagram first, with just a caption that said cravings. She posted like a bunch of different crazy food combos, like a pickle covered with chocolate.
Gross.
And people took away from that she's pregged up. Like she wrote cravings like jokingly and posted a few things that were very clearly like, well, women would only eat this when they were. Do you guys remember any of yours when you were pregnant?
Are you trying to say we were pregnant, like me and my wife were pregnant together?
Of course. With your baby?
That's so woke. Yeah, my wife would eat weird stuff.
I just can't remember what mine were. I feel like there was an item from like Sonic I was going to get.
Are you
a lot.
alleging that you would have a craving?
No.
Oh, all right. But she would send you for something?
Yeah, there was a few of them, and I don't know. Maybe we have them written down somewhere.
But I know my wife always thought things were too salted or whatever.
She needs the reverse Japanese spoon
or something like
Yeah.
that. But she would call managers out to complain. I'm like, no, hey, look, this is fine. I'm eating it too.
Dude.
No, you don't get it.
I mean, there's the
Like,
Karen,
she
and then there's
invented
the
the Karen.
pregnant.
Yeah.
And at that point, because society like gives them a pass, so they're like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna lean into this."
Yeah, I think being pregnant helps you become a Karen. I wonder if there are Karens who have never been pregnant.
My personal research would say yes, but I do think you're right that it's less common
Because it's a gateway. It's giving you the pass, and now you get everything you want.
It's because really what it is
No
the
matter if
lack of
it's-
awareness that it's not all about you.
Whether it's logical or not, you're getting what you want.
Right.
And so they think, well, the rest of my life should be like this too.
It's a great point. Great point, Dan.
Thanks, bro.
So back to the story, though. So Bonnie Blue, she's the one who had sex with 1,000 dudes in 12 hours. She posts like, "Oh, cravings." Well, because it's a tough world out there, it took 1 day for Lily Phillips, her rival, to post that she is pregnant.
What?
Now, hers comes with a little more controversy. One, Bonnie Blue didn't straight up say she was pregnant. This Lily Phillips lady posted a photo of her with a bump and a picture of 2 pregnancy tests. One of them says pregnant, one of them says inconclusive, but one of them says pregnant. And she posted this with her like with a baby bump, but people are like, she was just at the AVN Awards. Did you ever used to watch that on like E? late
Absolutely.
night? Yeah.
The Adult Video Award, sure.
And she didn't look pregnant at all 2 weeks ago.
Best blowjob? No way. She doesn't deserve that. They're all the best.
So her team, I don't know, like whoever gives a comment to the paper when asked about this for Lily Phillips said that it is part of role play. Like all people in her industry, her job involves role playing and acting. So this is her pretending to be pregnant because some dudes think it's hot to think of her as pregnant. So she has like a fake baby bump.
Okay.
Groobs is always into that.
Yeah, I remember him telling me that.
At least he said, the pregnant lady.
I haven't talked to the guy in a year, and then he texted me the other day, and all it just said was still into pregnant chicks.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude,
I think that's
know.
because you could be in a threesome. That's why.
It's kind of a new take on the reach around, you know? It's like they grab it from in there.
Yeah, if you could shove it in far enough.
I just find it funny that we have warring OnlyFans stars who are using their pregnancies. And as many people noted in these comments, I, as someone who has been through the fertility struggle, actually find this abhorrent.
Ha. So, yeah, this is these 2 ladies who, I mean, you kind of think they're going as far as they can go. The one lady had sex with 100 guys. She did 1,000. Like, how are we going to keep in the news cycle?
It's 1,000 while pregnant. Now.
I guess fake pregnancy now is one way, but now they're going to have to actually get pregnant. Yeah.
And
then together they'll take on 2,000.
That's the thing.
That's going to happen.
They'll team up.
Yeah, and they have before, so it's not like it would be, you know.
Yeah.
There's a familiarity there. They've played in the same offense. Quick update on a school board meeting that happened this morning, as we love to bring you the latest from KISD here, the Dumb Zone News. Keller's superintendent, who, whenever the proposal to split the district between the Pories and the not Pories came out, the superintendent was like, I'm resigning. I'm not cool with this. So that followed with like public outcry of like, no, don't. We love you. These people are crazy. We're not going to accept the resignation. Well, this morning they did. She was fine. I guess she was like, look, I don't want anything to do with this, and I don't think I can stop it. So I'm against this proposal, and I want to bow. I want to bow out. As of this morning, she did. So this might actually happen. Just wild. Right out there in front of God and everybody. Like, you guys are over there.
Yeah, my buddy Max, one of his kids goes to that high school, and I guess his wife's against it. Max,
goes to the
trainer.
Yeah, goes to Keller or to Fossil Ridge, or do you know if he's on the? I mean, to be clear too, by the way, like the bad side of Keller, quote unquote, it's not bad.
Yeah,
it's just a lower tier suburb, little rundown, but it's not like you're in.
He says it won't affect him from where he lives, so he must live on the good side or something. But he's like, his wife's still against it because she's for good, not evil.
We had an execution last night in Huntsville. Richard Tabler was executed. Okay, wait. Actually, this was late last week, but this is creepy.
How do we do it now?
This is lethal injury.
Okay. I was wondering how you might shorten that word.
I could have done better, but in the moment, didn't have it. So he made some comments about he had killed 2 people, 2 teen girls, and he apologized for that. Apologized several times. And the victims' families were there to watch. And
That's common, right?
He walked through like how he was sorry, how apologies that they'll never return to you. He told the warden in Huntsville, quote, "I am finished." And as the drugs began pouring into his body, he mouthed once again, looking at the victim's family, "I'm sorry."
Okay, I thought you were going to say fire Nico.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But I just think it'd be so creepy to just have the person who killed your whoever just stare you right in the face. And there's not even any sound, but as the poison is coursing through their central nervous system, they're just like.
Would you want to be there? I don't think I would.
Hell yeah, I'd want to be there.
You would?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Keller superintendent was making $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
Walking away from that?
That's pretty ballsy. You must know that you have something else.
Sometimes
Who would leave their highly paid job?
Sometimes you got to stand on business, baby.
Without a parachute.
Principle. All right, there's your news. Well, you don't sound like a guy who's ready to run through Delta Zeta, Oklahoma State.
Subscribe.
Not yet.
Asking a lot out of you.
We did bring back up at the during the NBR while you were gone that Dan needs to get fake testosterone.
It's not fake. There's nothing fake about it.
Whatever.
Supplements.
Sure. Just to see.
Little TRT.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm right on the edge.
Of doing it yourself?
Yeah. I'm waiting for that 4.0.
Just put on your fairy wings. Give her what she wants.
That's a good point.
I'm on a version of it.
What do you got?
It's called Clomid.
Oh yeah, that my wife took that when we were trying to get pregnant.
It works for guys too.
What does it do? You got a boner all the time?
No, but
it does says it can help treat male low testosterone levels. But this is, I believe, what I used to have to inject in my wife's butt cheek every day.
yeah, so I take it in pill form, and I have a pituitary issue, so it helps.
Probably helps with weight loss too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your pituitary. Yeah.
Yeah, so it helps with that, and the one thing I notice is, like, if I stop taking it, I don't have to, like, it's like when you take the injections, you basically just have to keep taking the injections.
But with a pill, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Wean
that makes
off
sense. Yeah. What if Clayton shows up pregnant?
This little thing it says the Clomid cycle and all the things you have to do. But it says here you're supposed to have regular intercourse. Is that what you were having?
That might be the problem.
Dude, we talked about this. You know how regular it was. Dan's talked about this. You run that shit like the triangle offense. Everything is on time. Everything happens exactly when it's supposed to.
Oh, no, she's tracking everything.
Yeah, dude. Regular for sure.
Yeah, I've never had more sex in my life.
Regular intercourse, it's got some hearts. It's like, what do you mean
No,
regular?
and that's what it is. It's intercourse. You're not having sex. You're
Yeah.
not making love. I mean,
You're spitting
you're
in there.
fighting for every inch to get a sputter.
How about viewer mail birthdays? Uncle Dan.
Sorry, dude.
He's done with
so
this.
done with his little roommates.
I'd appreciate a birthday shout-out from an important person person in my life, myself. Today, is my Michael Jordan with the White Sox birthday. My leaders are Dan's toxic combo of extreme horniness plus lack of energy to do anything about it.
What a theme.
Jake's courage to escape his family and all responsibilities for an entire month. And Blake's general disinterest in any travel outside of DFW. From DF Matt. Dear Fred Squirt, leader of Limp Bizclit.
Fred Squirt is a stretch, but I still allow it.
Birthday shout out to my special buddies Walter, Tyler, and Jamie. It's their OJ birthday. OJ Mayo.
Hell yeah.
Their leaders are Sarah Hepela's Hidden Sweater Puppies.
There's not much hidden about it.
Heather Brooks LimeWire Videos.
Holy shit. That is a callback right there. I saw she still has a Twitter account the other day. Heather I Deep Throat.
The Persian Gulf War and the Power I Formation. Tell Jake his courage is inspiring. I am a recovering low-life deadbeat alcoholic myself. Been sober now going on 8 hours.
Hey, buddy. Progress, not perfection, my man.
More trans champ and bisexual Mavs man. Send Nico to Guantanamo Bay. Establish the run. Never punt. From Lino.
Damn, that's a cool name.
And hello, monster of the Mons Pubis. Please wish my mother Rebecca happy 67th birthday. She will listen to this on a plane. She is a proud card-carrying member of the Beehive.
Hell yeah.
And her leader is the incel way in which Jake refers to women as females. From Nick.
Interesting. I think I've always thought it was weird when adult males say girls when they're talking about women.
What about broad?
Broad feels more respectful to me.
Broads.
But when people are like, yeah,
What about slit?
Again, I think all of these things are more respectful than the nubilization of a 40-year-old woman. Like, oh, my wife had some girls over. They're not girls. They're women who can crush you with their thighs.
So today is Thursday, February 20th. On this day in 1907, President Theodore Roosevelt signed an Immigration Act, which excluded idiots, imbeciles, feeble-minded persons, epileptics, and insane persons from being admitted into the United States. On this day in 1962, astronaut John Glenn became the first American to orbit the Earth.
Cool. He's like, well, look at it. It's round. Just as I thought. There it is, folks.
On this day in 1987, a bomb left by Unabomber Ted Kaczynski exploded in Salt Lake City. This day in 1989, members of the 1949 Oklahoma football team canceled an April reunion because they were disgusted by the deplorable conduct of Oklahoma players.
What year?
89. So I don't know what they were doing back then. Probably cocaine and stuff, right?
You'd have to think.
80s. And on this day in 2003, a fire sparked by pyrotechnics broke out during a concert by the group Great White in Rhode Island, killing 100 people and injuring 200 others.
That was a significant portion of the hard lines for about a month, it felt like.
Other birthdays today, Jurickson Profar, 32.
Very weird career.
Yeah, All-Star last year, right?
Yeah.
He's just now getting good.
It's good to see. Spencer Patton, 37.
Ranger.
Yeah.
Former Cowboy Jeff Robinson, 55.
I am going to say that this is a research project that no one can pull off. But I would guess that there is not a player who has played more games with a lower WAR in their career than Jurickson Profar did before he turned in a 4.3 last season. He had 5 seasons of negative WAR.
And all of a sudden, it's a plus.
He's negative 1.6 the year before. His ops jumps 200 points. I don't know.
He was one of those guys, because I was in the GTFBA when he was in the minors.
Sure.
And I had him. So he was just so good in the minors, like always. He was like Luka. He was always 2 years younger than his competition. And he was like the best player in each stop. And that's why you just predicted. I mean, he was Keith Law's number 1 prospect, I believe.
He was, over Oscar Taveras.
Ooh. Charles Barkley is 62.
So what's happening there? They're doing the show elsewhere?
Yeah, it's going to be on. It's still going to be produced by TNT, but it's going to be aired on ESPN, I think.
Okay.
But supposedly they're concerned that'll still just change the whole vibe of the whole thing. Stephon Marbury is 48.
Dan.
So this morning I went and searched Starbury shoes. They were $15 a pair.
When you bought them or now?
When I bought them.
Mm-hmm.
No, now you'd pay quite a bit on eBay or something. But then whatever company went out of business, like went bankrupt.
Well, yeah.
And the shoes were terrible. I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and it had a rip in it. Are you familiar with these, Blake?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cousin of Sebastian Telfair. People forget.
While reading this article, too, it said Shaq is also a guy who has done a lower level shoe marketing thing. Like, I guess he has a line of shoes he sells at Walmart, but he's made like hundreds of millions off it.
I'm not surprised by that. Shaq does a lot of stuff like that. I've heard that that's why he does ads for the General, which is kind of a typically thought of as a little bit of a cut rate. It's insurance, car insurance.
Huh.
And I believe, totally freewheeling here, that Shaq has said he does ads for them because they were the only people he could get to insure him or insure his parents or something when he was a kid.
Justin Verlander is 42.
Kate Upton.
I was looking at, obviously, he's number 1 in War Games for today's birthdays. Like 80. Like he's a Hall of Famer, right? Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. If nothing else, that photo.
Brent Gretzky is 53. He is part of the highest scoring duo of brothers in NHL history. So the highest scoring duo has 2,857 points. Brent Gretzky had 4 points. Cindy Crawford, 59. Mitch McConnell,
Boy,
83.
that's one I never got, man.
You never thought Cindy Crawford was hot?
No.
Really?
And growing up, you're like, what? I don't get it. She kind of, to me, looks like what Caitlyn Jenner is now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I promise you Caitlyn Jenner was like, I want to look like Cindy Crawford. And they did it. Mitch McConnell, huh? Didn't he fall the other day?
Did he?
I think so.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's doing great.
4 hours ago, he announced retirement. Will not run for re-election in 2026.
Looks like a turtle.
Definitely.
Andrew Shue, actor, is 58. Melrose Place. Brother of Elizabeth Shue. Andrea Savage is 52. She was the therapist in Step Brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
Super hot.
Rihanna, 37.
Speaking of super hot.
Miles Teller, 38. From Top Gun, Maverick. And Chelsea Peretti is 47.
Comedian, right?
Comedian married to... Anyone? Jordan Peele.
Really? Did not know that. Miles Teller is an interesting fellow. Let me try to describe to you why. Miles Teller's 38. He still looks like a child to me. Not a child, but he doesn't look like a man to me. And sometimes to me, even when I was like really fat and like looking old, I don't think I look like a man. Like Dan looks like a man. And he kind of always said, you look like a kid. I feel like I still look like a child, kind of. Like Miles Teller's 38. You look at him and he still kind of looks like a teenager. Whereas then you'll see like, I don't know, Chris Hemsworth or somebody who's 38. And you're like, oh shit, that's a man.
I don't agree with that for you just because you're so hairy. Like you could get a 5 o'clock shadow right away, don't you?
Yeah, and Miles Teller had a beard at the SNL thing the other day, but he just still has
But
like a...
Blake looks like a baby with a beard.
Yes. It's hard for me to imagine him ever looking like an adult.
This is not a
don't know.
a detriment to life, Blake.
No.
It's good to be that.
I don't know. I have no comment.
It's good because I didn't ask.
Born on this day now dead, Pierre Bouillet. I think that's his name. He wrote Planet of the Apes, the book. Great book. Ivana Trump, who is buried on a golf course.
Dude, I went down the wildest Trump family wormhole last night. So, DJ TJ has a daughter. Her name is Kai Trump. Kai. That is with his first wife, who I believe her name is Vanessa. And Vanessa, okay, so here's part of it. Kai, the daughter, who's 17, I don't know where she ranks, but she's one of the top female golfers in the country.
Really?
There's a photo of her from last weekend with Tiger. And I think this weekend she's playing in some sort of invitational with Charlie Woods. So
Charlie and Kai Trump will play in the prestigious junior.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is the mom, like I said, I think it's Vanessa Trump. I looked at her Wikipedia page, and for several years in the late 90s and early 2000s, I think it was 4 or 5 years, she was dating one of the princes of Saudi Arabia. Would you like to know when they broke up? September of 2001, when he went back to Saudi Arabia after him and his family were suspected of being the planners of 9/11. Then a few years later, she
That'll
married
break you up.
DJ TJ, like 3 years later. Had a baby, who is now a top female golfer. What I'm saying is it's just all the same. And now, you know who he's dating now? Kimberly Guilfoyle, who is Gavin Newsom's ex-wife. Feels like we might be run by a few families, that's all I'm saying.
Are you watching Tiger in this indoor golf league?
No, is it good?
No.
It's Tiger.
Oh.
It's Tiger. Getting mad at his teammates.
Charlie Woods listed as the 37th and final participant in the... What is this? This is the Junior Invitational at Sage Valley.
Ah, yes.
So apparently this is a big deal. It says it's usually comprised of the 36 highest-ranked boys and 24 highest-ranked girls in the world. Woods ranks 713th.
Dang.
I thought he was, like, really, really good.
So did I.
I mean, I guess even being 700th in the world, you're probably better than we are.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just really young, too, right? Like maybe that's like a 4-year age window, and he's at the bottom of it.
I don't know.
Or maybe he just won't grow up and be Tiger.
Can that be? Anyway, I really wanted to read you this part. A name I've never seen before. The top-ranked defending champ in the women's side. Oh, by the way, the Trump is ranked 2,342.
She's going to grind up there.
So they're inviting Tiger and her because of their names, it seems. Sounds like DEI to me.
It does.
Anyway, the defending champion's name is last name Tally, first name Asterisk. Her name is Asterisk.
That's a 0, right?
Oh, that's 100% a 0, but...
You might end up knowing who... This might be a really famous person someday because that name is very unique, and you will then have asterisks running all over the place.
That's really weird, man.
Also born on this day, now dead, Kurt Cobain. Dead on this day, still dead, Hunter S. Thompson, and...
Boy, you want to talk about just an overrated potential troika here. Who's third? Cobain, Hunter S. Who you got?
Died on this day in 1895. Frederick Douglass.
Wow. You may remember him.
And that's
from his spirited,
history.
racially tinged debates.
Yes, he would always be debating Lincoln. Wait a second.
I feel like the
Douglass
slaves
is
are bad.
black.
I don't want to be a slave.
Frederick Douglass is black. Lincoln wants to free the slaves, but he would debate Lincoln?
Not too quick. Let's do it measured.
Good luck tomorrow, Blake.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Thank you. The dream, 2 games in one day.
Very exciting times.
2 games, how much travel? 20 hours of travel.
How many girls? How many cups?
Does Andy do color commentary with you in both?
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys drive together?
No, because right now he is living in Oklahoma City. So he's been driving to Argyle, to all of these places from Oklahoma City to do these games.
Okay, so does it make you bitch a tiny bit less?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to ride with your partner. You want to have a little bit of your own space, get your stuff ready.
I got my stats guy with me.
Sure.
Okay.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
Oh no, you got me. I was just railing this chick. Oh no, you got me. I was just railing this chick. Oh no, you got me. I was just railing this chick. Oh no, you got me. I was just railing this chick.
Let me see that dick. Man, I love kissing titties. Man, I love kissing titties. Man, I love kissing titties.
Railing this chick. Oh no, you
Man, I love kissing titties. Man, I love kissing titties. Man, I love kissing titties.
railing this chick.
Sup, sexy? Looks like she keep it hairy.
Railing this chick.
Looks like she keep it hairy.
Railing this chick.
Looks like she keep it hairy.
Railing this chick.